Just make sure it doesn't stop. Because I've had a lot of problems with it. Can you just pull this a little closer to your mouth?
Like that.
Oh, yeah.
Is that good?
Beautiful.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you so good. But, yeah, who's the new... What's his name? Michael
Key?
Michael Key?
He's like a skinny, tall...
Look it up! See, look at it. We got
I love it. I love it.
This is the first time I've had it. Here, turn your mic on. Turn your mic on.
Yeah, it's Michael Key and Colin Yost.
Beautiful. Yeah. How great is that?
Yeah.
How great is that?
One of them is married to Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, lucky guy.
Lucky guy. Lucky guy. Yeah.
Dude, she was making a big ruffus about Disney.
Huge.
I mean, she did kind of get screwed over by him. I think her deal was she would get revenue or some sort of money from the movie theaters when it's the opening, and they didn't tell her that they're releasing on Disney Plus, where they got all the revenue from.
Right.
So,
right.
Just like, but I don't even know how that turned out.
Wasn't it Black Widow or
yeah,
something? Yeah,
it was. Did you see that?
No. Did you? I'm a big movie guy though.
Are you?
Yeah, I do love movies.
Did you see Dune?
No.
It's not that great.
Okay. Why'd you suggest it?
Because it just came out. It was there's this huge like cloud about it. They're like, oh, dude, Zendaya.
Yeah.
She was in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It
that's
sucked.
a shame.
And it was such a long story. It was beautiful. It was well shot. Which it was like a remake of a movie that was a book, and the old movie sucked too.
Yeah.
It was just the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And the same with this one. It sucked.
Right.
I'm like,
it's like Nomadland. You know.
No, I've never seen that.
I haven't either. But it's like the same thing. It was like Academy Award winning Best Picture, but it's all about like the cinema of it all. But it's just a boring movie.
Fuck awards.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I don't get any of. I feel like it's all politics, like the Emmys and the Grammys and all that shit. It's like, whatever. I don't know enough about it. I'm just talking out of my ass for that.
Yeah.
But I don't like it.
Yeah, it's just a way for like the upper class to feel better about themselves.
Yeah, and get all dressed up.
Yeah.
And wear a tax the rich dress when you are the rich.
Right. Is she the rich? Do you think she's the rich?
I don't know, probably. If she's like getting dressed up at the Met Gala, I'm going to say you're pretty up there.
Yeah, but that was sponsored by like her, like a nonprofit that supports her.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so like she didn't spend the $80,000 on the table or whatever it is.
Who is that lady that talked to Orange Seeds talking about there's too many nonprofits in Syracuse?
Decca Dancel.
Decca?
Yeah.
That was a good talk.
She's awesome.
She was very good.
Yeah, I've heard her speak multiple times now. Decca, she's like stop bias coordinator. So cool. So cool.
Yeah, because she was talking about just the whole infrastructure of Syracuse is just like messed up.
Yeah, because they can't tax like 60% of the land, which I didn't even realize.
How is that because nonprofits don't have to pay taxes to the city.
Right.
Which makes sense.
Kind of.
But then it doesn't make sense that Syracuse University is a nonprofit and owns almost all of Syracuse.
Right.
Like, no wonder Syracuse, the city, is just like so poor off.
Right.
Because they're not getting any money.
Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to fund your schools, fund your anything?
Yeah.
When you don't have the money for it, because fucking the rich ass Syracuse University charges $77,000 and counting every year.
Right.
And they're not paying any taxes for the land they own.
Right. And it furthers the divide between all the other like suburbs of Syracuse, like Fayetteville and Skinny Ellis, which are very affluent, you know. And then you have inner city Syracuse, where we like tramps around basically and have a playground on.
Yeah.
That can't even fund their schools or get enough bus drivers to drive their buses. Yeah, it's crazy.
And they got screwed after. Who sponsors the Dome? Is it the air conditioning company?
Yeah, Carrier. Used to, not anymore.
Yeah, because that used to be a big company where everyone worked at.
Right.
And then they left, and then we built I-81, the highway right through the town, and just like, did we buy out? Oh, I say we. It's like I did it.
We're a part of Syracuse now.
It's honestly like a whatever. But Syracuse bought out all these like black owned homes and like jazz clubs and all this cool like hip things that were made Syracuse and just like wiped them out, didn't pay them shit. The jobs left. Then the city was divided, literally redlined. Like the city is literally redlined by a fucking highway. Like, dude, like what are we doing?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It makes no sense.
They totally diminished and whitewashed the culture too.
Yeah.
Especially when you have hospitals, also 4 major hospitals that are also non-tax, non-profit land. It's like, how does Syracuse expect to make
any money?
Right.
What was she saying that they were gonna do weren't they taking down the highway?
Yeah, they're like restructuring the highway, taking it down and restructuring it, but they're also assuring that like X amount of percentage of those people working on the highway reconstruction project are from Syracuse. Because I mean, her big thing was that they always outsource workers. So it's like 2% of the people that actually will be disrupted by the ID1 construction will be actually working on it. So and not getting paid from it because they're not working on it. So it's like their thing is getting more Syracuse people working on that project, which is interesting.
I mean, that's how it should be. Like,
Right.
if you're working on your neighborhood, like, you should be the ones doing it, not having an outside source come. And the jobs were paid well, too. Didn't she say that it was starting at, like, $20 an hour or something like that? Or just maybe, I don't know, not the complete facts on that. But it was, like, good pay. And that's the type of thing that you could use to help a community. It's like, you don't really need that much experience. And you can make a lot of money,
Right?
And you're building in your own town,
Right?
Like, that's good.
Right.
That's good.
Right. I don't get why that's not logical.
Because the city doesn't care about that shit.
Yeah.
Everything just cares about making money. But this is what I wanted. I've been reading into this a little bit. I've just scratched the surface.
Sure.
Okay. So it's pretty much. This is so wild to go in for the first like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
It's like altered states of consciousness.
Okay.
And the government pretty much, so there's a CIA document for the 1984 called the Gateway Experience.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Dude. So this fucking Gateway Experience, there's this whole 33-page write-up about looking into it. They're like, oh, you can get to this altered state of consciousness through this type of meditation. I'm trying to remember the first word. Transcendent meditation,
Sure.
Biofeedback. What are the other two? Hyper hi-fi, which is the thing they use, and hypnosis.
Okay.
And like it all ties in to like the brain. It's like they pretty much, in the hypnosis version, they silence the left side of the brain because that's the brain, the side that processes everything and gives that information to the right side of the brain, which is more creative and woo, shoo-doo-doo.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is a myth.
If you,
That's a myth.
Is it?
Yeah. That's not real.
What?
Yeah. Like left side, right brain. Totally not true.
Whoa.
Yeah. There's no scientific understanding of that.
Really?
Yeah. It's all a lie. It's a big lie.
Wow. That's fucked. Well, there goes that. But then okay, whatever. So even if that's not true, the whole thing is they connect the frequencies of both sides of the brain to create a certain like, what's it called? Frequency or connection between the two. And it like amplifies it to a certain thing. And then you could go into this fucking altered state where you leave the body in time. So you leave space and time and you can literally go wherever the fuck you want. And they say in the thing, it's like, you could also reach that state through like 20 years of practice of Zen meditation and all this stuff. And like you literally use, from what I got from it, like you literally use your body as a beacon to like use like your electrons. It starts in your toes, like use the electricity to put it through your body and use your brain as like, what are those, the satellites?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
To shoot it off. And like they use the example of a lamp, and the lamp has all this energy in it and it doesn't go very far and it's not very packed together.
Okay.
But then when you get this amplitude together, when you go into this hi-fi fucking meditation or whatever, it brings the light together into like a laser beam type thing. And it has so much fucking energy in one point. It's just like, what the fuck? And they were doing this in 1984, like leaving their bodies. Like the whole thing in philosophy right now is, well, I guess not right now. They've kind of shut it off. They're like, physicalism is the path. Like everything's physical. There is no spiritual. There is no non-physical world. And all this science fucking it literally proves it completely wrong.
Right,
no one believes dualism anymore because they're like, we have no proof. I'm like, dude, there is proof.
Yeah, and the hard part is I think proof comes after. You know, it's like sure there might be no proof of the afterlife, but it's because you can only find it out like after you die.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, of course there's no proof. So how's it wrong? You know? Can you say it's wrong?
How you gonna know?
Wait. But that doesn't make sense. So it's like my mind leaves me. So
like your soul.
I would be sitting here. Let's say I meditate right here and I do it and I like get it. Yeah. If we get into it, it's like my mind is like wandering out in time and space in some other world. But like I'm still sitting here. Like you can still see
your body's here. Your mind's not. Your soul leaves. And they describe the soul. I was watching this video in the common room by, I forgot who, some like Russian, it was like a TEDx talk or something.
Yeah.
And he was talking just about like, dude, it's so hard for me to explain this stuff because I don't understand it entirely. But like the soul is like a certain, it all comes back to like vibration. Because he says everything, like every religion says, like Christians think the start of the world was from the word, like the word of the Lord. Like another tradition thinks it's like from a flute, or whatever.
So it all comes from a sound.
But yeah, it's a frequency that carries information.
Yeah.
So it's all the same shit. So his pretty much basis is everything. He compared it to like you look at a computer screen, and on the screen you see trees and people and houses and stuff, but it's all one thing. It's just in different forms, and that's kind of the way we are too. Like we're all the same frequency. We're all the same part. Like me, this chair that I'm sitting in, you, the camera, Ozzy.
Ozzy.
We're all the same frequency, but because of the way we evolved or whatever, like in our eyes, in our ears, and the way we perceive the world, like we think we're separate, but we're actually different. And I think it's Rumi who says this. You can look it up, but we're not a drop in the ocean. We're the entire ocean in a drop. If that makes sense. So we're not a drop in the ocean. Tell me if is it Rumi? Rumi? R-U-M-I?
Yeah, it's Rumi. It says you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop.
Oh.
So it's like we're not separate.
Yeah.
We're everything.
Well, the part that kind of confuses me though, or what I think about a lot, is like, sure, like my whole world is myself. The only thing that I ever know is like this, whatever this is the entirety of life, because it's the only thing I know. But like yours is so different. Basically, it's like you have a whole new, different perspective of what life is for you, and it's like it's so real to you, but that doesn't make any sense to me because it's not real for me. Yeah. So like, how does that work?
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
How does that work?
I don't get that either. I really don't. I guess I don't know. We just have different. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah,
it's something I can't answer.
Yeah, maybe that's why we disagree so much. Not you and I, everybody. You know,
Yeah.
It's like because we all have such a different lived experience that we view as the most important, or as the sole right one. You know.
I think that is the exact root of all problems. It's literally everyone thinks they're right.
Yeah.
And it's because of their experiences.
Right.
So if everyone had the same experiences, or if I had your experiences, I would think the exact same way you thought. And if you had my experience, you'd think the exact same way I thought.
Right.
So it's like, well, fuck.
Right.
If everyone thinks they're right,
like
then that's where I'm like, we need to start educating people from a basis. And the Russian was saying, I'm gonna send you this video so you can pronounce his name because I don't know how to pronounce it. I want to make a fool of myself. But he was saying we need to teach. Here it's called holographic Usanin. Dude, you try to pronounce that. Let's see.
Oh boy, Holographic Universe by Usanin Alexander Evgenovich.
Dude,
sure.
Sounds right.
I don't know.
But his thing was pretty much saying, where was I before his name? I forgot.
It was like how we're all this, or like if we were all the same.
Oh yeah, he wants to teach. Like he thinks there's 3 types of bodies of soul. Like our body that we see in the mirror, they are societal body of like our towns and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the universal body, which he didn't explain.
Interesting.
What that is. But so our bodies here have like organs, this kind of stuff. Like when you have hate and anger and greed and these sins, as the Christians call it, you get sick because you are not in homeostasis between, he calls it acids and bases, which are in chemistry. So he thinks that there needs to be a balance for you to be healthy. And when you sin, is the simplest way to describe it, you unbalance yourself and you become sick and get ulcers, because they find that in science, like in doctor shit, right?
Yeah, you can convince yourself into a way of sickness, or you can convince yourself into a way of healing, but nobody can understand, you know, how that works.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to think of it in physical terms, because it's not physical. But, and then the societal way is when relationships don't get along. So say we fight, or I fuck your wife, or you fuck my wife, like Well, like that's like the 10 deadly sins. Like don't kill. When you kill someone, like all this shit creates not homeostasis. I don't know what the other word for it is.
Yeah, you're like out of homeostasis. Yeah, there's no negative to it. Yeah,
no balance. And then the universe one, he didn't really explain. But he believes relationships are what solves everything, like healthy relationships, like relationships with your body, with your mind, with the people around us. Like if we can learn at a young age how to have good relationships with each other, he believes there'd be less violence, like less fucking divorces, less crime, less terrorism, like less everything, because everything's in balance.
Yeah.
And everything's like working together because we're the same organism. Like think of it, like how does our body work when something's not working right?
Right.
Like I don't know, I'm asking. Like, does it like get attacked by something or like to get it out or?
Yeah. It's like your body almost like attacks itself.
Yeah.
Like we have defense systems in place to kind of attack. Like if you get COVID or something, like your own cells will start to attack the foreign invader and hopefully get rid of it for you, which manifests into that sickness.
And then we could see that on a bigger field in our society. When something's not working, defenses come in towards us. And we have the same thing for like a mental immune system too.
Yeah.
Like when an idea comes in that we don't like our own ideas attack. It's like, that's wrong. Look at this, blah, 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 which is sometimes dangerous because sometimes it fights the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's just interesting that relationships could have such a big impact.
Yeah, I mean, but the hard part is that like everybody isn't fortunate enough to have positive relationships in their upbringing. You know, like it's a very reality that kids are neglected, abused, and whatnot throughout their entire childhood. So if that's the initial reaction that they have to a form of relationship that is supposed to be one of like love and care and help, then it's like, how are they ever going to unlearn that?
I don't know.
Abuse that they were taught.
How do you think? Like, because obviously you're so right. Like you get beaten. Like fucked up family home, which is most of America.
Right. A large
part of America.
Yeah, whether they're quiet about it or not.
Yeah. So I think about that a lot, and I think maybe in schools they could teach this, but this is like a therapy thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then also it's like those communities that are often like at a higher risk for those kind of behaviors don't have access to therapy or have a stigmatization to therapy. So it almost leads to this overwhelming sense of futility that it's like, okay, nothing's going to change. So it's like, why the fuck even care?
Yeah. That is, that which sucks.
Yeah.
To have that feeling. Because I have that feeling a lot. And there's this quote, I don't know who this one is either, but it's, once I was clever and I wanted to change the world, then I was wise and decided to change myself.
Right.
Tell me who that by? Tell me who that by? Who that by? Who that by?
That's pretty good, James.
Yeah.
To be able to recite that.
That one's also Rumi.
So
big Rumi guy over here.
What?
Said big Rumi fan over
Big
here.
Rumi fan.
Who is Rumi?
I think he's a philosopher. Where is he from? Like what time period?
I actually don't know. Let me check.
I think it's. I want to say. Like,
you can take a stab at it.
Let's guess. I'm gonna say China.
You think he's from China?
Or like.
I'm gonna say
saying Asia.
Indonesia.
Ooh, I like that guess.
13th century Persian.
Persian.
Persia. Was that like the pirates or something?
Where are the Persians at?
It's like west of India, Turks type area.
Geography.
Yeah. He was a big Islamic figure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. So I never understood that. Like the reason I was able to recite it, because I always saw it on like this philosopher page I follow on Instagram. I'm like, what the fuck does this mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't get it. And after reading that CIA thing,
Yeah.
it was pretty much, there's an effect called, can you look up transcendent meditation? And there's going to be a name of who made it. It's going to start with an M. But there's this guy who made transcendent meditation. Who's it say?
Oh,
it's a hard name.
I
right?
could not pronounce that.
give it.
Mahesh Yogi.
Yeah. So
yeah, that guy.
There's the first name of that guy, Effect. That's the name of it. Effect.
Yeah.
Where it's pretty much when you practice this transcendent meditation, you start to have a field around yourself, and it affects everyone you're around. So there's less crime, less divorce. And they're like, what the fuck? No one understood it. They're like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
And then so they did a study where they took like 5 people and they sent them in different parts of the world and saw what happened.
Okay.
And like 4 out of the 5, things got better in those places.
Interesting. Like in the entirety of the place,
Yes.
not just in their own personal life. This is
Everything
a
around
societal
them.
positive change.
Exactly. and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's
I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
But just imagine, and they said if 1% did this, like learned how to do this, like that would be enough to change the world.
Sure. So then what's the drawback?
I don't know.
Why don't you do it?
Because it's hard as fuck. It takes
okay.
20 years
So
of
it
Zen
is-
meditation.
okay. So the drawback is time.
Yeah.
It's time.
And like, I don't know. Can you look up how to get trained in this? I think. Yeah, because I don't like. I don't know. I always want to learn how to do meditations.
Yeah.
But I go online, like I don't.
It's cheesy now.
It's
It's too self-care. I think the idea of self-care is kind of taken a path towards for the worse.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just. It seems like something to make money now.
Yeah.
So, like every good thing in the Western world, it's definitely been monetized to a point where you actually probably don't know where you're going to get good or quality transcendent meditation courses. Because the first thing I found was mineisthemaster.com, and they basically were like, here's the top 5 programs for transcendent meditation.
So it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like the idea of it's probably not bullshit, but
Yeah.
the
monetization.
the monetization is very
Because
much
now they're just
bullshit.
trying to make money off
I mean,
it.
one of them's YouTube that they cite. So
Okay.
yeah.
They probably run ads on
Yeah.
it too.
I mean, it reminds me of like I'm taking a religion class right now
yeah?
where we look at like all religions in the United States, or like really like small sects. And so we looked at Scientology,
Ooh.
and it's the same idea where you have to pay, to go up in all these levels, and once you reach the highest level, you're supposed to reach enlightenment or
Yeah.
whatever. But then when you get there, you find out that's all just a scam, and it's all been like a big money waster throughout the entire time. So that's why I wonder if this is like that.
So when you get out at the top, would
Yeah.
they just say, "Oh,
They-
sorry, buddy, we've
yeah.
just been scamming you"?
Yeah, they like reveal the entire history that just like you've done all these things that you could have done on your own that you like don't need Scientology for, and there's no real basis in. And so like that's the big secret. I
That's
guess,
fucked.
of Scientology. Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude.
It's crazy.
What? Fuck Scientology. Screw you, Tom Cruise. You liar.
They're another one that not taxed. No church organization is taxed, so they don't pay taxes on anything.
That is scummy. I have been kind of losing faith in the church per se,
Interesting.
but because I'm like, I don't know. I'm like,
You're
I could
Catholic,
do,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would go to church together.
We
sometimes,
do go.
especially
I always see
here.
you at
Yeah,
church.
Yeah.
I haven't gone this semester yet.
Yeah,
but
neither.
it's just like I don't know. I feel like I could do this on my own. Like I feel like I don't need to go here
Yeah,
to do it.
I kind of miss it though. I haven't gone this semester because if I'm not there for the hours, like I block it out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
But now not going, it's like,
Yeah.
But is that good enough reason to go just to force me to do it? I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. It's just like, but that's what I found interesting with all this vibration stuff and all this, like all these ancient texts have been describing what we're learning now and actually finally have the knowledge to understand in simpler terms.
Yeah.
Like I always thought of the Bible as like a children's book.
Okay.
It's like because the Old Testament was written for fucking thousands of years ago we don't even know when it was written.
Right.
Whatever. But the New Testament was written for like people of like 2,000 years ago
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Because like
2000.
0 BC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like written for those people. Like now let's think about who these people are that are getting this book.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be simple because they don't know fucking what an atom is.
Right.
They don't know anything. So like how are you supposed to explain the most complex quantum mechanics physics to people that don't understand sanitation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can't. So you have to
Right.
make it simpler for them. And now we finally like understand stuff and we're looking back at these old scriptures. We're like, wait a second. Like at first there was a word and like, oh shit, this means this.
Yeah.
Like this, all these things treat each other like thy neighbor or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, because you are me.
Right.
You
right,
know?
right. We have so many commonalities. Yeah. That's fascinating. We are the same person. you
Yeah.
know? We all have like the same evolutionary path from whatever the first thing was.
But even beyond that, like we're made up from the same shit. Like
Yeah.
we are the same thing in different forms, but the same. It
but
makes
we're
no
so
sense.
Different, but we're so different. I don't know. I don't know. Like I think about it. Like we were talking about animals earlier. Like if a dog looked at you and me, like would it detect a significant difference between us?
I'm not sure.
A random dog, not yours.
Oh, my dog loved me.
Yeah.
I love dogs, so every time I see a dog, I let them sniff my hand or
Yeah.
her, and they go. And I go, ooh. And then I go.
I hate that.
So how do you hate? You're like one of the first people I met that hate dogs.
Yeah,
I love dogs.
You don't know what they're thinking. I'm gonna put my hand in front of this animal that could be so hungry that it just bites my hand. You know, it's like, how do you
could.
like?
But I also do that with bees. Like I see a bee.
You're a psychopath.
And I just put my hand down, I let it land on me, and I'm like, yeah, how's it going?
No.
Yeah,
No.
dude, if you're friendly to them, they'll be friendly to you.
I don't believe it.
Dude, there's these wolves in these sanctuaries, and they just get belly rubs. Like, it's so cute. Have you seen those? Dude.
This sounds like a death sentence. I think if you're gonna go up to a wolf.
Personally, I would not go up to a wolf.
What about a deer?
I wouldn't want the ticks. They're too shy. They just, you see the.
Yeah. I like fish. I do like fish because they're kind of small and they have small mouths, so they can't really cause any harm.
I wonder what. I don't know what consciousness is, but there's got to be levels of it, because I think humans are definitely pretty high up on that list. I don't know about extraterrestrials.
Yeah. If they're real.
No, they are real. They're fine. We don't need to get into that. I could talk about that for fucking hours. But humans are on Earth that we know of. Reptiles.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I don't think there's reptiles. It's creatures on Earth. It was funny. My friend Blake, who I went to high school with, her dad's like Kernan on CNN.
Oh, whoa.
And she was always like, in high school, she's like, yeah, people think my dad's like a reptile. Yeah. She's like, he's not. I'm like, you sure about that?
Yeah,
like, you give me some reptile vibes. Like, I don't know. I don't really trust you.
It's like horse girl vibes. But
Yeah,
like
exactly. She was a horse girl.
Yeah, shocker. Not surprised.
Yeah, fucking reptile. But yeah, humans have. I think we're pretty high up on the consciousness totem pole. Dolphins up there, elephants up there, dogs a little lower.
Yeah.
Cats, I would say a little higher than dogs.
You think so?
Oh, definitely. Those cats know what they're fucking doing. Those monsters. And then just like fish, insects, bacteria, like single-celled organisms.
Yeah.
That type of shit. And I don't know what makes, like, how do you get a higher level? Like, why do we have a higher level than like a fish?
Yeah, I feel like it's just like an evolutionary need. You know, it's like because we like come from monkeys, so it's like monkeys needed to be smarter because monkeys have a super high consciousness. I would put them up there right under humans, I think.
Yeah.
And so like they had a need to do more complex things, and that kind of just evolved into like a bigger and bigger brain. You know, because they started with a super small skull. Like monkeys have they had a skull and a brain, but it's like much smaller, and so then it had to get bigger and bigger and bigger, based on like whatever they needed. So,
dude, it's so fucking strange.
But do you think we're at like the highest level of consciousness?
No,
not
at all. I think we're fucking idiots. That's why I said on Earth, dude. I think we're so fucking dumb. It's ridiculous. We can't even get along. Like we can't even get along.
So you don't think we're the smartest creature?
No. Oh, on Earth?
Yeah.
Well, on Earth, yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Because it's like every other animal could get along with each other, like work together. Viruses do a great job working together.
Facts.
They've survived just as longer than we have.
Right.
And they're going to be kicking after we're fucking dead.
Yeah. They're going to kill us all.
Yeah, they might.
Process. Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know.
But they're not really living.
Are they though?
No.
Do they know? Isn't that like debated? Are viruses living?
If viruses living, I feel like I learned it in like biology in freshman year of high school. Yeah, it's like they're like not living. Like that's the one difference between like bacteria and viruses. That viruses like are not living. But there's something.
Then what's the thing? Like
they don't have a cell. Viruses don't have a cell, so you can't be living if you don't have a cell. They're a like I don't know.
That comes down to the definition of living, though.
Yeah.
It's like, what do we consider living?
Yeah.
And being alive?
Yeah.
And I'm taking a philosophy of life and death class.
Okay.
The answer is, I don't fuck. No one knows.
Interesting.
No one knows.
So you think this table could be alive?
No.
Or this is definitively?
I don't think this is alive.
So like, what is up for debate?
We just don't like know the definition of make something alive. Like we look at ourselves and like, okay, so is a person in a coma alive? Because we could say, what makes a person alive is that they can interact with the world around them, right?
Oh, okay.
And then you say, okay, what about somebody in a coma? They can't interact with the person, with the world around them. So you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Can't we use that? And then you go to something else and you find another and another and another way to counteract it. So it's like, I don't know. Think of something, on the spot.
Yeah.
What makes someone alive?
Yeah.
Like just, what makes something alive? Like they have cells?
Yeah. Well, it's like cells. They have to be able to like respond to a stimulus. So like if you like poke them, they have to be able to like move or respond to it. So
someone in a coma.
The whole coma debate is like,
So they're not alive?
No, I think they're dead.
Really? Interesting. I don't know.
Wait, I don't know about that.
That's what I'm saying.
That I say that out loud,
it gets confusing. Like when you start to really think about it, it's like what makes something alive? Because we looked at like the the doctors, like the textbook stuff.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like there's so many ways that we can get around that.
Yeah. There's like 7 key characteristics that you must possess to be alive. But the response to stimuli one, I don't know. You have to be able to like move in a way.
Yeah.
You have to like walk.
Create energy.
Yeah.
But then the way I think it is, and I have no backing for this because I'm big into the soul thing. Like I think, because when the soul's not in the body, I think you're dead.
Okay.
So like when a person dies, they lose the frequency or vibration with whatever the fuck the soul is.
Yeah.
And it leaves. It's out of your body. You're fucking dead.
Okay.
You're a dead fish because now you're just flesh.
Yeah.
Like a meat sack.
Yeah.
Just a big,
no thoughts.
big
nothing.
sack of meat and bones.
Nice.
Just dead.
Nice.
So that's fucking gone. So I think the soul is like a power source to our bodies. And like the souls are non-physical. So like angels and stuff are all these non-physical beings that don't have the sensations we can have, like touch, taste,
Anything.
feeling, pleasure,
whatever.
like
Yeah.
any of this stuff. Only like physical beings can have that type of stuff. So I think when the soul exits, like you're dead.
So what do you think about people who like are like clinically dead, heart stops beating, stop thinking, they're dead? Does the soul leave their body right then, or does it come back when they are shocked again?
So there's this documentary on Netflix called Dead or Death. I don't know.
Something.
The first episode was good. The second episode was shit, and it made me stop watching because it
Okay.
got too kooky for me. But
That's saying something.
yeah, right. I know. So I'm like, I'll go. You have my attention for a little bit, but right when you're like, this is too crazy for me, then I'm like, this is wonky.
Yeah.
But the first episode was about near-death experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of accounts of near-death experiences of people going to the light, going through these tunnels and shit, being able to like, this lady, this is in like a church. I watched like a Christian thing and they talked about this too. Like this lady died and then she saw a shoe on a roof and she came back in her body after she was resurrected, and resurrected was an interesting term right there. But when she came back alive and she's like, there's a shoe on the roof. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they go look on the roof and there's a fucking shoe just standing there. But the one that gets me the most, or there's two that really get me the most. This one lady had something in her brain, a clot or something.
Yeah, like an aneurysm. Or
Yeah.
something.
It was an aneurysm. Dr. Lewis. Dr. Lewis. An aneurysm in her brain. So they had to perform surgery. They cut off blood flow to the brain. She was dead for the entire surgery.
Yeah.
So, like, she's dead.
Right.
She's dead.
Right.
So after she comes back, she's like, I had an out-of-body experience. Like, I saw everything. They're like, what are you talking about? She's like, I saw this doctor using this tool that looked like a fucking toothbrush on me. She explained so much of it. And they're like, you could not have known this.
Right.
If you didn't actually have this experience.
That's
so it's like
fascinating.
the soul left her body and then came back in when she got...
Yeah. So that's why I think somebody must have known, that it wasn't her time to pass. I don't think somebody in a physical sense, but some power at large, must have been in control, because they must have known, okay, like this, she's going to die, like die. But she's like, it's not her actual time to die. So it's like, how do we get her out and back in? I don't know.
I don't know how that works either, but think about it. Because if you, like what we talked about earlier, if you can go into the meditations point, you get out of space and time. So imagine a place where there's no time. So everything that ever happened and will happen has already happened. Like you could think of it like a film, like actual film.
Yeah.
Like now you're looking at it, you see the entire movie, but when you go back into it, it's like you're living in the present.
Sure.
But when you escape that realm, you can see the whole thing.
All
and
at
you'd be
once.
like, oh, I see your beginning, I see your end, I see this, because it all already happened. Because time's like the fifth dimension or something.
Yeah. How many dimensions are there?
There's like 16 or something.
Oh, wow.
They're like popping them up every day. I don't even know what that fucking means.
Yeah.
16 dimensions. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. And what does it mean to like not have a pastor or a president? Just see the entire thing on a film. It's like, okay, that's nice.
How many dimensions?
Dimensions might be one of those things that people just make up. Now, here's the thing. Scientists apparently tweaked the math to include 10 dimensions, 11 including time. That's what the equations were. Like, that's mathematical sense. But there's people that have gone as far as to say there's 26. dimensions. But mathematically speaking, there's 10 plus time, so that would be 11. 11 dimensions.
What the fuck's that mean?
Right, but I don't know if you can classify past, present, and future in the time dimension. Like,
Why not?
Well, because when I think of time, I think of like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, something that we constructed. So it's like that is something that we can also kind of take away since we brought it into this world. But like there is still a past in a current, in a future, I think, despite a clock.
No, yeah, I agree. I think for us there is, but for creatures outside of this, I don't think there is.
But how does that function? So it's just a present. It's just or it's nothing.
I don't know. For them, I don't know what it's like, because have you watched Interstellar?
No, but I've heard such good things about it.
Well, I don't really want to spoil it for you. But they kind of show it in a very good way.
Okay.
That makes sense at the end. That I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it. Maybe I'll go back.
But you know what I'm talking about. Don't you think that gives a good way of thinking about
just
it?
like the dimensional part, like at the end? I don't want to spoil it, but I'm just...
Yeah, when he's like floating around.
Yeah. I would say that's probably a good dimensional analysis of it, because like, I guess I don't know how they would string time in with it though.
Yeah.
Like he was just in a different area.
But the time was different.
Yeah.
So there's still
I
time.
don't know.
Dude, I don't fucking get it.
That's
I don't
the
know.
hard part.
It makes
That's the
no
hard
sense
part.
to me, but this is what they say. You can escape space, which is our physical world, and time, whatever the fuck time is.
Right.
So everything's already happened, and everything has just already happened.
Yeah, and that's why they can cure the world of all the people who meditate. But wasn't in the CIA papers, wasn't it that a page was missing? Or like the integral page was like not
In which one?
in the 34 papers of how to reach enlightenment or something. Or
Oh,
was that something
I did
else?
hear about that.
Yeah,
I think
there's like a
so.
missing
Which
page.
is sketchy as fuck.
Right,
Which
right.
leads me back to the whole thing of how fucking corrupt our world is.
Yeah. Do you think the world is, or yeah, probably.
It's just the powerful. The power. Luke McCarthy gave me a very good. He's my friend. A good analogy. We were watching that Russian video literally just today.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, why have they not told us about our ability to reach a fucking higher state of consciousness?
Sure.
And he's like, think about it like this. We used to be monkeys. One monkey picks up a rock, hits another monkey in the head. That monkey has an advantage now.
Sure.
He wants to keep that advantage.
Interesting.
And they survive and they breed more and they're the winners.
Interesting.
And it's like, oh, that makes sense. Like, if you're a powerful person and you have something that gives you more power over another person, why the fuck would you want to tell them about it? You would try to distract them any way you can so they don't get that.
Yeah.
With media, all this other bullshit happening in the news.
Right.
Like, literally, it's fucking social media.
Yeah.
Like, all this bullshit is literally just distractions. From what? From the actual questions that matter in life. Like, why are we here? Like, what is the point of all this? How can we get along?
Yeah. But are the distractions a bad thing? Like, especially like in COVID, I think distractions have been awesome as a great way to escape. And distractions come in like many ways. You know, the news is not. I don't think it's a distraction from. Well, it might be a distraction from the questions you're asking and from reality, but there's still no taking away that like the current reality is a shit show.
Oh yeah, no,
right now,
I agree.
You know.
But I do think the news is a shit show too.
Oh.
Because it's all to make.
Absolutely.
At this point, it's all to make money.
Yeah, it's entertainment.
It's a business. Exactly.
Yeah,
it's
Fox
a
News,
fucking business.
It's in their like mission statement that their mission is to entertain.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure it's in CNN's and I'm sure it's in
all
any
of theirs.
other major media platform. Yeah.
Most of them got sued, and they literally all for fake information.
Yeah.
And they all got out of it because, well, they're not here to. They're here to entertain.
Right. Right.
That's their job's not to inform. Their job is to entertain.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck? How is the fucking fourth estate that are supposed to be the eyes of justice?
Mm-hmm. Whatever that means.
Sure, I just made that up. You know what I'm talking about, though. Like, they're the ones supposed to be telling us all this bullshit. Like, and they're the ones feeding us fucking shit down our throats.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit about Kim Kardashian's fucking fat ass.
Right,
like,
right.
I don't care. Good for her that she could pop a bottle on it, but like, I don't care. Kind of care. Like, don't show me it as news.
Yeah.
It's tough, dude.
So you think like Joe Biden, arguably the most powerful person in the country right now, knows the whole thing about the CIA
No.
papers. And
I don't think he does. I don't think he's the most powerful person.
Who is?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. But I think it's interesting how every 4 years the most powerful person in the world gets replaced with someone else. Dude, no way they tell every president about every secret there is.
Interesting.
So who's the people that know all the secrets for every president?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Who does tell? Who does do the briefing for president to president to president to president?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Dude, that's why I'm like, this shit's a fraud. Like, who the fuck is the people that know the stuff the president doesn't know?
Yeah. And how much do they know?
I'd say a lot.
You know, you think the president knows a lot?
No.
You don't think he's just...
No,
Yeah.
I don't think they know a lot.
I think
you think they told Trump a lot?
I hope not.
No fucking way. No fucking way they told that fucker anything.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But who's they? Who's they?
I don't know. Dude, and they don't want us to know.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point of it, they're in shadow. It's shadow government. Like, whoever, it's probably high ups at CIA or high ups in intelligence communities would be my assumption. Because they can stay however long.
Right.
And no one knows who the fuck they are. But, like, I don't know. And that's what scares me. It's like, when you don't know who's running everything, it's like, that's kind of sketchy.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you buy the whole Joe Biden hometown story? A simple man came to Syracuse, you know, and then this...
I don't know.
Or do you think...
I buy it. Like, I think he went his way like a normal politician. Like, I don't think there's like a huge conspiracy behind him. I think he was into politics. He came into his thing. But I think there's shit behind the shadows that, like, you get lobbied for.
Yeah.
Like, the big money guys are saying, hey, you say this, we'll give you 500.
Oh, yeah.
The camera died. You fuck. I knew that was going to happen. Fuck. They know.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's intentional. You know, maybe somebody tapped it for you.
Motherfucker, Joe Biden himself. Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe Biden's here. Yeah.
It.
I wonder if he's ever been in this house.
Probably not. Dude, I mean, I guess we could just go no video for a little bit, which sucks. Maybe I'll record on my phone. I could do that. I'll record on my phone for a little bit. What about that?
That's the best part about technology, you know?
I could do it with this. It will fill up all my data like crazy, but...
You're just gonna have an hour-long video of Lewis Smith. And just be like, wait, why do I have this?
So handsome. This is terrible. La la la. Sorry, people.
Does this stay in the video, or does this get edited? Yeah, it's fun.
I might take it out, depending on how long this takes for the kid. All right, perfect. And now we're back with a new video.
Yeah.
As that charges for a little bit. I knew that was going to happen. Didn't I tell you? I was just waiting
right
for
before.
it.
Yeah.
It's like,
let's just add more on your plate, James.
Like, just fuck
more
this
editing.
guy.
Yeah, it only takes 6 hours. To
to do it anyways.
What's another clipping videos together?
Motherfucker. Whatever.
That's funny. It was good timing, though. It was
Yeah,
perfect timing.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
This-
right as we're talking about that.
Right.
The most powerful people. It goes out.
Go boop. But the thing is, like, this is what I'm always just like technology's great, but now that we have cameras, audio, they can literally hear us and see us wherever we go.
Yeah.
Like, even if I was good at hacking, I could see everyone.
Yeah, facts.
Like, it doesn't take a fucking genius
Yeah.
to fucking hack into a video camera. That's what scares me.
Yeah, I mean, and last year we had all of our, the university had a huge data breach with all students' like social security numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
That's who knows who it was? Some fucker just on his computer, just like hacking into, like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So we don't have any privacy anymore. It's like privacy, the way they always put it out, it's like privacy or freedom. Or is that what they say? Privacy or safety. Or
okay.
Freedom or safety. Freedom and safety, right? And it's like, well, most people are like, oh, I want to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but is it safe? I don't know. I mean, we have cameras all around our house off campus, you know, for safety. But then it's like, sure, like that might keep us safe in a small sense. But it's like, it's sensationalizing all of these like terrible encounters safe for anyways, like mental health or anything.
We give so much power away to feel safe. We kind of give our freedom away in a sense. But it's like, well, I do think the government is out for the best for us in a general sense. Like, I don't think they're trying to screw us over or anything like that. But, like, I don't know. I'm very torn.
Yeah.
as you could tell.
Well, I don't think they're out to screw.
Like I don't
you
think
or
they're
me
here to
over
fuck with us
on an individual level.
No.
That's our part. Like I don't even know if they. Maybe they know who I am.
They probably don't think
I don't
about
think
us.
so. Yeah, exactly.
They
So
probably don't think
that's
about
my
us.
that's my whole thing. It's like why would they even? Why would they care so much about?
I think it's a game for them. Like I think it's a game.
Interesting.
Like they just want to get the most money, like have the power. Like this is just like a fucking game for them. Like this is just fuck. They don't give a shit about the consequences. Just imagine you're the person sending people to war.
Yeah.
Like you don't care about those people. You're just like we want to fucking invade Iran or Iraq because where was Saddam Hussein? Was that Iran or
Afghanistan?
I don't know.
Iraq.
I think it was Iraq. It was
Somewhere in the
I
Middle
don't
East.
know my wars.
I
I think it's Iran. Iraq? Damn.
Iraqi.
Iraq. But like we said, Saddam Hussein had a bunch of deadly weapons, and that's why we were gonna go invade.
Yeah.
Which was complete bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? What? Yeah, it's just oil.
Yeah. It's
just for money.
Yeah.
And then we just sent fucking literally middle class, probably lower class people to go fight in this fucking war away from their families for fucking oil to make them money.
Right.
It's like this is stupid.
Yeah. And that is fascinating because it's like coming from Seneca Falls, a small rural town in New York, there were always recruiters in our cafeteria, in our lunchroom. Yeah. It's because they like prey on rural students to fight this military and protect a country that like really hasn't done shit for them. So it's like, oh, this is your way to get social mobility and do all that stuff. But it's all a big scam.
Yeah, it's just we're just pawns. And like I used to respect it, like George Washington. He would fight with his army.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No.
You don't see the top of the top fighting with their armies.
No.
And now we're just getting brutalized. But now there's all these like chemical weapons. Holy fuck.
But then if
We're fucked.
then if it goes back to we're all the same, you know, it's like that person who knows all the secrets, whatever, is the same
Yeah.
as you
us.
and me. Yeah.
Ah, the phone.
I hope that didn't crack.
I got a good case on her. Is this? Let's see if this camera. Maybe this would be good time for this to come back on. Oh, so handsome, Lewis.
Hype me up, James. Thanks.
That's going again. Hopefully that doesn't die. Probably will. Oh, definitely gonna die again. Right when we're talking about something else, it's like that they don't want us to tell. That we don't want to tell. And I think it's funny too, because all the shit that is like conspiracy, fake news.
Yeah.
Like they trash Joe Rogan for it all the time. I'm like, what? Like, have you like listened to it? Like he has data to back this shit up. Like he has like scientists coming in talking about this stuff, and they just trash him. Like, wonder why you put a tinfoil hat on someone, and you're like, this is bullshit when you don't want them to listen to what they said. Like they literally did that with aliens.
Explain. What do you mean they did it with aliens?
So pretty much there's this thing called Project Blue Book. It started in the 50s or 60s. I'm not sure which one it was. And the whole basis of it was when there is extraterrestrial encounters, they would come, look at it, cover it up, and then report on it.
Huh.
So that was the basis of it.
Yeah.
So they've been doing this, and then in the 60s when there was all these crafts coming and everyone was seeing it and like freaking out, like what the fuck are these crafts?
Yeah.
They started being like in the news, and they started putting out like propaganda pretty much saying like, oh, this is conspiracy, like get your tinfoil hats out if you see an alien, like you're crazy if you see this, to pretty much make it so if you ever see one, like you're just discredited immediately because people think you're crazy.
Yeah.
So
they've stigmatized the truth in a way almost
to get people to look away from it.
Huh.
So they've done this before. Yeah.
It's on the United States Air Force like website, but basically 1947 and 1969 they had, of a total of 12,618 sightings reported to Project Blue Book, 701 remained unidentified. Whoa. And all of that, I mean, the Pentagon during COVID just kind of slightly just swept under the rug, just released all that UFO footage.
They released it,
so,
and I read it, and it pretty much said, we don't know what it is.
But then, is that a bad thing? You know,
what?
like, do we need to know?
That's the thing.
UFOs, like, is it a good thing to distract us?
For that one, I think they're not telling us because we would go crazy.
Yeah.
We don't want other countries to know what technology we have because there's been crashes like at Roswell, New Mexico, where we've had the stuff for over 30 years. I think Roswell was in the 80s. So we've had this technology for like 40 years. We reversed engineer it. We probably have the propulsion systems now. I bet if you see a UFO, it's probably us.
Yeah.
But we don't want China to know what technology. We don't want Russia to know. Like, and they don't want us to know either. Like, there's been crashes in Russia. There's been crashes in China. They're not just coming to the U.S., guys.
Yeah.
So, like, but it's probably those two main things that I think is why they're not telling us.
Yeah, because I think sometimes it's a good thing to distract.
Yeah, we'd freak out.
Or to not tell the entire truth, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I think some of the COVID handling was a shit show. Because we knew, like, almost, like, way too much about it. I don't know. I think some people knew too much about it. Like, yeah.
In what terms? Like, how do you think?
I think we gave people so much information about what the virus could be, or like what it might end up as, and like this safety precaution, and a lot of people to kind of pick and choose what they wanted to believe in. So it's like, oh, like I'm washing my hands, so I don't need to wear my mask because they said that washing your hands is good. You know, so it's like we gave out so much information that allowed people to kind of get lost in all of it and then not believe certain stuff as it changed as time went on, and now it's a total circus.
It is circus. That is really true. When you tell someone one thing, they just stick to it, and then when you evolve, they don't understand that. Hey, it's like we have more information now. It's different.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck you mean?
Yeah.
I just wash my hands.
Yeah, exactly. And they totally discredit. Like, I mean, the whole problem is with Dr. Fauci, how they totally discredit him after like the science changes. It's like, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about because you said this, now you're saying this, now you're saying this, and it's like, no, that's like not how it works. But these people don't understand.
What do you think about Daddy Fauci?
I love him.
Yeah,
I love him. I think he's awesome. I think he is so awesome. I want to be him. He has had a huge impact on medical school enrollment. Yeah, it's called the Fauci factor, where they get like they saw like a 40% increase in applicants to medical school after Dr. Fauci became such a notable figure.
Why do you think that is?
Because he has become like one of the faces of the country now. I think like when I think of the president, I also think of Dr. Fauci because of how much FaceTime we had with him and how much influence he's had.
Yeah.
And so people want to emulate him and want to be like him, and so they're gonna become a doctor.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, which we need. We need more doctors.
So do we need, like, obviously we need doctors, but like, do you know like the numbers? Like, are we actually like falling down in doctors?
I don't know. I know it's a dying economic field. COVID was a loss, you know, which is fascinating.
Damn it, COVID.
Yeah, yeah. It's because like all of these like small family practices had to go onto video, and then doctors don't get paid as much when it's a video as when in the office, so their practices start to fail. So it's
and only the big ones can stay open.
Yeah. And so it's like, and then if you think about it in like rural areas, it's like 20% of the population lives in a rural town, but only like 9% of doctors practice there. So there's a huge disparity in shortage because they don't get paid enough to work there. So nobody wants to be in that much debt and then work and make no money.
Because you spend like how many years going to school?
Yeah, four undergrad, 4 medical, and then you start like training. And then
if you want to specialize too.
Yeah, you keep on going.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you're that makes sense why people want to go rural, because you're never going to get out of that debt.
Yeah. But then it's like such a shortage. And then you see so many people in rural counties that don't want to get vaccinated. They don't want to wear masks because they don't trust medical professionals, because they don't have a doctor in their face that they trust telling them. So it's so many compounding societal factors. It's crazy.
Do you see a way to help with that?
I mean, the way is to put more money into rural areas.
Where's the money come from though?
Like, yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm just trying to think it through. Like I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like a problem that needs to be fixed. Like maybe, I don't know. There should be a rural fund.
Yeah, right. Or there should be an emphasis. I think there's a ton of money that could be allocated to different places if we just kind of parcel it differently. Or the treasurer, or whoever. I hate the they.
Yeah.
Whoever the they are.
They.
If they just put a focus on, like rural health or rural areas in general, because they're not an economic booming system, so they don't give a shit about us. But if they did, it could have such huge, like down the line economic factors that they're not thinking about. But rural people don't care. They just kind of live with it. They're just like, yeah, whatever. You know, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. You know, and in our 60 years of life, it's like, okay, is that a fight we want to have for the rest of it? Like, probably not.
That's fair. I do think like virtual reality is going to come huge in this kind of stuff. Like I talk about it a lot with education, But I think even for like doctors and stuff, you put on a headset, like I don't know. I'm just going so sci-fi here. Scans your body maybe, and like you could just go to a doctor in your room, and they could be like, "Oh, open your mouth." And they go, "Oh, you have strep throat." I don't know. That may be way too far advanced in the future, but like I do think virtual reality, like technology, is going to advance enough where no matter where you are, you can get the same education or same medication is not the right word, but
like quality of care.
Yeah. Anywhere you are. Because I think that's the next step. It shouldn't matter where you live.
I don't know, but I mean, would you want to see your doctor, if you go to your pediatrician or your doctor, would you want to see them through a screen, like every time?
But it wouldn't be a screen. You'd be there. You put on a headset and you're there.
Oh, interesting. But they can't feel you.
Not yet. Dude, they just came out. Oh, they might be able to feel you. They came out. They just fucking look it up. The holographic thing you could feel. Hologram you could feel. Just look up that. And it's pretty much, the scientists came up, it's a hologram, and they use air, like little bursts of air. So when you touch something, it bursts and it feels like you're touching it. So they used like a basketball. They were bouncing a basketball.
Yeah.
And it felt like you were bouncing that basketball and shooting it and catching it.
The same exact way that it actually felt, like you'd feel
with the air.
Like the ridges and all that stuff. Yeah,
Fucking
but would
weird.
that work with the body? I don't know.
What's it say?
At the University of Glasgow, they're in their bendable electronics and sensing technologies research group. They developed a system of holograms, and they call it aerohaptics, which is essentially, the jets of air like create feelings in your hands. But I don't know if that's necessarily like realistic, because like they're faking the basketball bouncing with the air. You're not like feeling a phantom basketball. So
I would hate.
I don't know. Phantom heart surgery is a bit far away.
Yeah. Right, I'll take that. I'll take that as a far away. That's in my wild mind of imagination that it could go that far. In my right brain.
Yeah. It doesn't matter now.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting, though. I do think there's going to be a lot of advances in technology.
But is that a good thing? Sometimes I think we're going way too towards.
I'm kind of with you.
Technological. There was something that we're going to reach. Amelia was telling me that we're going to reach like a plateau of information at some point where it's like we're on this like spiral, this like exponential spiral towards technology, and then we're going to reach like some linear path towards like craziness.
Like super intelligence?
Yeah, and it's just going to be like there's going to be a point where everything's run by AI, and that there's equal levels of intelligence at this super high level, and then kind of everybody's just going to kind of just hang out. There's no other reason to achieve anything.
That's what like we're kind of going the direction with. I was talking to this anthropologist I had on like 2 weeks ago. Here's the last one I did. He was worried about technology also.
Oh, okay.
Because we're turning into cyborgs. It's a different term in like philosophy and whatever. He explained it well. But pretty much, even with the Neuralink, Elon Musk's thing.
Yeah.
We're putting technology in our head, connecting is it increasing the bandwidth? I think it's increasing the bandwidth between us and technology so we can get information faster, even though that's not wisdom. I think it's kind of funny. We may have all the knowledge in the world. It doesn't make us any wiser.
Right.
But so, we're going to get to a point where it's called transhumanism in philosophy, where we're combining with technology to get to a certain point where we could scan our brains, put it in a computer, which this Russian fucking billionaire wants to do by 2060 or 2050. Which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's happening in our lifetimes. This guy wants to scan his brain and put it into a robot. What the fuck?
It's like Frankenstein.
It is.
That is Frankenstein.
So they think, because we get back to the soul, I don't think that's going to be you, because it's not going to have your soul.
Right.
It's going to have your exact replica of your mind, or your brain, and they put it in this thing, and it's just going to be a super intelligence, AI.
So the mind and the soul are separate.
Well, the mind and the soul are the same, but the brain's different. Because there's different ways, like different words for it. Like the mind, like you see this in philosophy too, right? Like the mind and the soul are pretty much like the same thing. Yeah. So it's like the brain is one thing, like the hardware, whatever. The mind is like more of a theoretical, like non-physical thing.
Yeah, but that's not stored in the brain.
They don't know where it's stored. Because where is a non-physical thing supposed to be stored?
Yeah.
So, what's his name? Descartes thought it was stored in the pineal gland.
Okay.
in your head, which is just like all folded up and creased up, and no one knew what it was for. Now they know it produces DMT,
Okay.
diaptyltryptamine,
Yeah.
I think it's called. And they just found out in this new study that this DMT is produced there, and it also flows through your brain, like, and is in your prefrontal cortex with your eyes and shit. So it like affects the way you see. And if you know what DMT fucking is, it takes you on a trip.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a crazy psychedelic. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But that's where Descartes thought it was stored. Just for like no reason, just because it wasn't duplicated on both sides of your head. He's like, oh, that's cool.
Can't you trip that yourself? DMT, like, can you like stick your tongue all the way down your throat and then like fuck with your gland and then it like trips it for you?
I have no clue.
I don't know if you can trip your own pineal gland, but you can make DMT like very easily. So like
in your brain.
Yeah, well, there's like meditate. Obviously, there's the transmeditate, whatever. Like, there's ways to meditate to try and like release more DMT. Now, whether that's fake or not is, I guess up to be told. But like, you can create physical DMT like very easily. Yeah. So
nice. But it's interesting too because the pineal gland looks exactly like the eye of Horus.
Yeah, it's like Horus, and then in Mayan culture, like all the acorns that they had is like the same exact thing, and so that goes back to what you guys were talking about. Like ancient stuff was very easy to understand. Then like there's so much stuff that point to that doing something for us that I feel like it's worth giving a look to.
Yeah, and they are starting to look into stuff, which is crazy. But there is something to it. I think it might be stored there too.
Yeah,
because all this shit. People do. I love talking about DMT. It's just like so crazy. Everyone gets like the same visions. They go to the same spot. It's like another universe.
Is it like a happy drug?
It's not even like a happy drug. It's like it takes you to a different dimension. That's how people describe it, and it feels more real than this dimension.
Crazy. So maybe when we die, we go to a different dimension.
Maybe, and that's what I'm thinking too. I'm in the life and death class, and we're talking about like everyone says like death is bad for you. And we're trying to figure out why death is bad for you. And I'm like, what if death isn't bad for you?
Yeah.
Like, what if we, because there's, my favorite show is The Midnight Gospel. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
No? Dude, I love it. It's Duncan Trussell's podcast animated. It's fucking sick. It's my favorite show ever. And in that show, there's a zombie apocalypse. It's a wacky animated show.
Yeah.
There's a zombie apocalypse. And when at the end, they find out when the zombie bites you, you get like enlightened and you're in like this happy spot. You turn into a zombie. They're all singing, like it's all magical. But the people at the time didn't know you're going to turn into a happy, magical singing zombie because they just see a scary zombie that everyone's scared about. And that's kind of how I am recently looking at death. I'm like, well, no one knows.
Right.
Once you like you said, when you die, you don't fucking know what happens. You can't come back and tell us.
Yeah.
Like, what if you're like, oh my gosh. This is the best. And that would solve the question. Fuck you, camera. Erg, me matey. I'm an angry video blogger. Dude, these fucking cameras. This thing sucks. Dude, what do I do?
Why don't you just do it without the video?
I want people to see you.
Okay.
I want people to see you, Lewis. I want people to see you. Because it's good for the Instagram and shit. Like when people see no person, it just like kind of turns them off of it. Yeah. Like I don't know. I honestly don't know if more people listen to audio because I don't see stats for audio.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know if people just listen or because he listens, right? Or do you watch?
I listen.
Depends on the person, right? Like I wanted to watch Movies.
Yeah, that is fair.
I listen to him.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they were on YouTube. I always just listen to him on Apple Podcasts.
I need to do better at getting that out there. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Anyway though, I don't think I'm scared to die. Like I think it's just kind of, the way it goes. But I also think that this life is like way too huge to not have anything happen after.
Right.
It's over.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It's like we just don't get it.
I think it's a game. Like we just start over again. Like it's start over.
That's what I think also. I think it's a big loop.
Yeah.
I think it's a big loop.
Because there's no way. I mean, I know this argument has been made like countless times over, but it's like no matter can be created nor destroyed. So it's like if we are we are matter created, then how are we going to be matter destroyed?
Yeah, we're not.
We can't, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we just go into something else. I don't know.
I don't know if it's reincarnation. I don't know if our soul just wanders and goes into, like, I have Morgan Stout and Ellie Schneider. I don't know if you know them. They came on. We were talking about this. They think that, like, your soul learns. So it comes into like a bunny or something and it learns, and then it goes into the next thing and learns. That's kind of what the Buddhists believe. I don't know a lot about Buddhism.
Yeah.
But vague reincarnation type of thing. I don't know. I don't know if we learn, but I do think, like, the universe, we can agree, or most people can agree, that it started with the Big Bang, right?
Yeah.
Big Bang. So I think the universe is expanding right now, and at a certain point, it's going to start to fall into itself because it reaches a point and then it slingshots back. And I think it's going to go boom. It's called the Big Crunch, I think it's called. So I think it's all going to come back together. And from that energy of it all coming back to one place, it's going to do the Big Bang and it's going to start over.
It's going to happen again.
And it's going to happen again for eternity and never stop.
And so, like, are we...
I think we're the same thing over and over again in the same...
Wait, that's interesting.
Over and over. Forever.
So we never die?
No. We're infinite. But our bodies die, but I think we're going to repeat this, like this conversation, this day, this year, everything over in however fucking many billions of years.
Forever. So
Yeah.
then,
Forever, ever.
Wait, what was that movie that it was like that? There was like a movie. There was a movie. Have you seen that? It was on Netflix or something where it's like they die. They're on like a college campus and they like get killed and they like.
Oh, Death Day.
Yeah, Death Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Death Day and Death Day 2. Yeah,
Kind of like
what it is.
Kind of like Death Day, but it's just everything, ever, in eternity, and it just happens over and over and over.
But how does that work when? How does that work? Because if you let's say you die and then I die 10 years later.
Yeah.
Now we're on total different time continuum. So if this day is supposed to happen again and again and again, year after year after year.
Well, it's not year after year.
You're right. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. My lifetime will still be going when yours won't. So do you start over or do you plot back?
Okay. So this kind of goes to the next question of, does the soul have a memory? Which I don't know. Because, like, if it does, then I think you could survive outside. Well, because then we're talking about time again. Yeah. So once we die, we're out of the time. You know, I don't know how that works, but we're out of it, which makes me think, I don't know what it makes me think, but I don't know. I'm thinking, because I do think if you die, the next time you wake up in this body, it would be like nothing. There would be no time passage. But I do think when your soul goes out into the world, like, I think you can experience, I think you could come into this reality and, like, mess with shit. Yeah. You know, I do think you could do that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, have you had anything like that where, like, a family member or a relative or somebody has passed and then it's like, oh, there's some strange coincidence about it, and
I mean,
that's them.
For Italians, it's like the cardinal.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
like I always see the cardinal like after a death or something. I'm like, yo, like, how you doing? It's good to see you.
Yeah, that's like our Aunt Sis. Like the cardinal is her favorite thing. She's like, every time it's like, oh yeah. Or is that just us trying to find
could be
and rationalizing somebody not being here still?
It could be that for sure. But I do think, like, I do think, because this is what I find interesting. If there's no time when you go out, then I could visit myself in the past. My past, you know?
Oh, okay.
If I'm dead, I could look after myself in the past.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I do think there have been times, like, I used to have these weird, like, I have no evidence of this. I was really thinking about this the other day. Like, when I was young, like, I used to have this weird feeling that would, like, start in my toes and, like, build up and, like, go into my head. Yeah. And, like, make my feel like my head's about to explode, kind of like you're doing shrooms. Huh. Like right before you start to trip.
Okay.
And then it just, like, burst. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I'd feel, like, so out of it. I'm like, and I just would think, like, I would feel, like, out-of-bodied. And I'd be like, what is going on? And I think, like, times like that, like, when I die, I'm going to be there. Yeah. It's all like, hypothetical. Yeah, I don't fucking know. But I think, like, I definitely think, because I always felt when I was a kid, I'm like, someone's watching me. Yeah. Like, I always felt like someone was watching me. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And you think it's a past self?
I don't know if it's a past self or just, like, my guardian angels or ancestors or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I always just felt watched. You ever get that feeling like you just like, what is?
Yeah.
Like, so you feel another presence.
Yeah, or like looked after, or like.
Yeah.
I feel it more like comforted. I think like there are times where I'm like, oh, I like should be stressed. I should be this or that. But it's like for some reason I feel this overwhelming sense of like it'll be fine.
okay.
Like a big hug.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's like, oh, who's that?
Yeah, and I definitely believe that. I said it at the Orange Seed meeting, like when I broke my face.
Yeah.
Like that was fucking guardian angel, no doubt about it
Yeah.
in my mind. Like, because I was literally praying to be humbled, talking about my face and my voice. The only thing, like, I need that, like, for my career. And I'm like, humble me. I get out of the car to play soccer. Literally 10 minutes later, I get a fucking elbow to my fucking zygomatic arch. Inch above, I would have died. Hit my temple. Inch below, I would have broken my jaw. I'm like, this is the perfect spot.
Yeah.
Of my face. Literally could have taken away my voice and my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I have been humbled.
Right. So
and I think about it all the time because I could still fucking touch it and feel it. Like, that's with me forever.
Yeah. I don't get how people don't believe in a higher power or higher.
I don't get it either.
I mean, I almost go as far to think that like everything that has happened to us is so intentional, is already planned out. You know, like I think it's everything is predetermined for us. I think your lifetime, what you're gonna do in life, everything, blah blah blah, already planned out. Same with mine.
Yeah.
You know, we have no control.
I agree, and it sucks because it's like, oh, what about free will? But I do think there's a mix. My favorite podcast that never got recorded. I think I told you about it. I went to Buffalo, 4-hour podcast with a NASA scientist. Used to be my calculus teacher. Fucking genius. He was explaining all this shit to me. Video and audio got lost. Love it.
Yeah.
Got a speeding ticket on the way back. Whatever. But he was telling me, I was talking to him about free will and determinism. He thinks it's a mix, and it made a lot of sense to me, where everything may be determined for us. I wish I could explain it better, but we still have, like, the actions we make are still our free will in this moment, but that free will has been, like, kind of determined, because, like, you know how you're gonna act.
Yeah.
So it's like you have free will, but everything's already fucking determined. I'm not explaining it well because I don't really understand it that well, but that was kind of the basis of it.
So it's like our choices don't have any impact. Like we can make any choice we want, but that will still not impact what we're already predetermined.
It's the choice we were always going to make.
Yeah.
Based on our past.
So then it was predetermined.
Kind of. But I don't know. I'm not. He explained it way better than me. But I think there's a mix between determinism and free will. I don't really understand how. And the next time I have him on the podcast, I'm asking.
Yeah, are you gonna have him back?
I definitely want to, because it was like amazing talking to him. He was so smart, and he's like explaining like quantum mechanics to me in like ways I could understand. I'm like, that makes sense.
Wait, so why is he your high school calculus
So he
teacher?
quit NASA because he thought it was unethical there.
Oh, in what way? Did he explain it?
No, he would never explain it to me.
Interesting. I wonder how much he knows.
He probably knows.
He's part of the they.
He was pretty smart. Then his family was in Buffalo, so he moved to New Jersey to get a job, and then he was like commuting, which was a lot, and then he moved back to Buffalo, and now he teaches in Buffalo.
Oh, cool.
But he was like the smartest guy, and he's working on like the theorems of grace. Like, grace is, dude, I can't even explain it. It was like so cool. He was such a cool guy. I'm definitely gonna have him back on again. Yeah, but I don't know. But the thing is, like, because people get down when you say you don't have free will.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, then my choices are because of me.
Right.
They're like, I'm like, I shouldn't get consequences because it's always gonna happen.
Right.
I'm like, to a certain point, like, I get. It's like people who are raised in bad families, in an environment with not a lot of jobs and like drugs, like, you're gonna turn a certain way and you really don't have any other choice. I'm like, yeah, that's true. It's fucked. Like, you don't know any better. Yeah. Like, we were lucky to be given the tools to survive in this world.
Right.
Like, we were given the tools, and it's our choice whether we want to use them or not.
Yeah.
Some people, like, have never been given the tools to know how to survive. Like, they only know this one way.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know how to fix that.
But we didn't choose to get the tools. We did. I mean, I took a class, and a lot of it was free will versus determinism. Like, what's right? And it's like our own being was determined for us. Yeah. So it's like, why do we even think that we can have free will when we didn't even choose to be here?
Or did we?
I don't think so.
Some people believe, I forget which religion or whatever, but they believe that you have a choice to come into this life. Because it was in my moral philosophy class, and we're talking about, like, it's not fair to be born without asking for it. And then they're like, well, what if What if you do choose and you just don't remember? Like, what if we do have a choice to come into this physical world? We might. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's all a question, but
know.
it would be interesting if you did have a choice to come in here, because then it would be fair. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like, because there's the veil of ignorance where it's like, you don't know where you're going to be born. And the whole point of it is like, our society's not just because you would never choose the veil of ignorance because you could be born in fucking North Korea.
Right.
And that would not be good.
Yeah, some would not choose to be born in America, though.
Yeah, true.
The trajectory that we're going.
Yeah.
You know.
So I don't know. We could
I don't
have a
know about that
choice.
one.
I don't know if we do have a choice, because it does make sense to me that we would have a choice to come into this like cruel physical world to get some pleasures that we couldn't have in a non-physical world.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a
don't
lot
know.
of it. No one knows.
I don't know. You know, do you ever? No, this is gonna sound super strange.
I love
But
it.
You kind of just want to die just to see what's gonna happen.
Yes,
You know,
all
sometimes
the
it's like,
time.
okay.
I
I'm
just
kind of
want.
just ready to die just to see what happens.
That's. I was talking to my priest, and we were talking about like the day of reckoning.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I guess when we die, like, I'll see you there. We'll see if you're right. So I'll be like, because if we die and that's right, we will be risen again, and
Yeah.
I'll see you then.
Right,
Because this will be the last thing I remember. So when I wake up, like literally when I die, we'll be there.
Right. But that also confuses me too, is how we have like all these religions that have their own belief in the afterlife. Some commonalities, but like pretty distinct afterlives. So somebody's gonna be right at the end of it. Like who?
Yeah.
Who?
It's gonna be right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna be the atheists.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be them.
I don't think so. But back in this religion class, atheists aren't really like believing in like no religion. It's more like they're not anti-religion. They're just like not even anti-God. There's like no God. It's like something else. You know. I think everybody believes in something. I think you have to believe in something, or else like what the fuck are you, like why are you still here?
Yeah.
Why don't you just die? If
True.
you don't believe in anything, then
Die.
Then leave. You know.
Yeah.
It's like
That is true. Yeah, I do. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what God is. I don't think anyone that really does.
Yeah. Or if God's just a comforting blanket. You know.
Because like, how would our minds even comprehend something so like powerful?
Right.
I don't think we could.
Who created the world in 7 days and has all the stories, and I don't know.
I don't know. It did make sense to me that could be just vibrations though.
Yeah.
Like just this one frequency. Because everything's sound. Like everything, like this table is vibrations.
Yeah.
Like you are vibrations.
Yeah.
I am vibrations. Like everything's vibrations. And we just perceive it as wood or a shirt.
Right.
When everything just has a certain frequency that it's vibrating at, and then our eyes and our bodies have evolved to survive. So we evolved to like see the way we do, because we don't need to see vibrations. We don't need to see fucking microwaves or x-rays or shit like that are there.
Sure.
But we just can't see them because it didn't help our fucking survival.
Yeah.
Like we evolved to survive, and that's what our bodies are.
Right.
That's it.
Right. It's like your wisdom teeth.
Yeah.
They don't help you survive at all, so they get taken out. You know?
Yeah.
And eventually, people won't be born with it. What?
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See? Exactly.
You weren't born with an appendix?
Exactly.
See?
Evolutionary.
He's evolved.
Yeah.
He's evolved.
He's superior to us right now.
Wow.
Because I have wisdom teeth and an appendix.
I have both.
Yeah.
Or all 6, 5, all 5.
Interesting.
Well, I got my teeth removed.
Oh, did you?
And my tonsils removed.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow. I've never had mine removed. I have 2 wisdom teeth on the bottom, and I'm terrified
Really?
to get them removed. Yeah.
Like 2 on one side?
No, like 1 and 1.
Oh, do you have the top ones?
No top ones, just bottom ones.
You're evolved too, you fuck. I was so
like partially
disevolved,
evolved.
de-evolved.
Partially
evolved.
Yeah, you're not evolved.
I'm not evolved
You're
at
very
all.
evolved.
They did something where I had some crazy stomach problems, and what happened was they thought I had appendicitis. So I was what do they call it when they're looking? I had an ultrasound, and they were like, "Yeah, you just like don't have one." They were looking for it for a while. They were like digging in, and I just don't have one. So yeah.
Damn.
What were your stomach problems?
It was just a mixture of like
Constipation.
it was just bad. Okay, so what happened is actually I had COVID really, really bad.
Oh, this was
And
recently.
Yeah, this is pretty recently. It was May of 2020. Or like
no way.
Yeah, and so what happened was I had COVID really bad in the end of April and like early May, and so end of May and like June, the nerve endings in my brain and my stomach and my throat, they were all thrown off completely. And so like I could empty my stomach by just thinking about it. Like I could just pull trig. Yeah.
You could shit yourself by just thinking about it?
I could just pull trig. My entire digestive system, with all the nerve endings connecting to my brain, were just not correct, and so they would just happen.
That's cool.
So like it wasn't like I couldn't control it. Is that if I just thought about it, like I could just do it.
Dude, that brings me to this thing. It's like, that's wild.
That is wild.
That's a superpower.
That is wild.
Shit on command. Just think about it. Well, they were doing this study on this guy who was paralyzed. They hooked up his brain to this whatever, and then he could write with his mind. You see that?
I think he could like control.
Look, see if you can find anything on
like
that.
a pen or a pencil, or he could
No.
like
on a screen, the words would come up that he was thinking.
Interesting. So they connected his brain to some sort of computer.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it.
As seen in an article, but they named him in the experiment only as T5, which is completely dehumanizing. I don't know.
Yeah, this paralyzed guy just T5.
Yeah. But they implanted 2 tiny sensors made up of hair-fine electrodes, 4x4 millimeters, into the left side of his brain to allow him to write his thoughts. And he was 65 at the time of the study, and it was 9 years after he suffered an almost fatal spinal cord injury in 2007. And then he was just asked to imagine holding a pen and paper and write, and then the words like appeared on the screen.
See, they can do that, but they can't get him to walk again or something, or like go to the bathroom by himself. You know, like, how does that make any sense?
I don't know.
I don't get that. I don't get that. Like if you can't walk, you can like get your mind to teleport thoughts onto a computer.
Makes no sense. Yeah, you think get your priorities straight, right?
Yeah. See, it's all about technology. It's evolving to such a whack ass place that it's like
even monkeys. Elon Musk put the Neuralink in a monkey's head.
Yeah.
And gave it like a Pong screen and a controller.
Yeah.
And gave him a smoothie every time it worked in his mouth. And then they unplugged the computer or unplugged the controller, and he was still playing with his mind.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck?
Crazy. Have you ever done it? They have not obviously not Neuralink, but in some like interactive museums, they have a headband or a headset you can put on and like control a ball in some way, like with your like.
That was a game.
Power.
Did you ever play that game?
Yeah, we did it like in a museum or something, where it's like you like battle somebody else. Like we would be like connected
with your
like
minds.
The ball would try to.
Dude, it's crazy what our minds can do, and just think about that. If we are all the same, we could connect and speak with each other like mind to mind.
Yeah.
If we get on the same frequency.
I don't know if I would want to hear your thoughts.
But like it wouldn't be like that. It was like we would have to tune into the same frequency and like communicate like 2 different satellites.
Like a radio.
Like a radio. Like we would have to turn on like 92.3 to get to that wave to hear it.
And we wouldn't need to speak. We would just know. We would just know.
And that's how I think if aliens haven't got there through technology, I think they're doing it through that because they figured it out.
Interesting. You think?
Yeah, because from all these tales of aliens, they communicate telepathically. So it's like they either could get there with technology, which Elon Musk says we're going to get there to a point where we can communicate telepathically through the Neuralink, or you could do it on your own because we're all the fucking same. Yeah. So you just have to connect and figure out how to do it. But I think if we're still around on this planet in, I don't know, like 200, 300, 400 years, like I think people will be taught how to use their mind properly. And like we actually could be a civilization of like nonverbal communication.
See, that's what I think is kind of fast, like crazy, is how like after we die in 200 years, like what will be so archaic that is so technologically advanced right now?
Killing animals.
You think that's
You
think that'll be so?
I think it's
strange.
gonna be like, oh, how the fuck did they do that?
What about killing people?
That's bad too. But I'm thinking like the mass slaughter of animals for food is going to be so looked down upon in 100, 200 years.
Interesting.
Like
so
probably even by the end of our lifetime, looked down upon.
So you think everybody's going to, everybody will just be vegan?
I don't think it's going to be vegan. I think it's going to be lab-made meat. Like you get a cell of a cow and you can grow that cell into a steak. Like they've done it before. Like it's been done. It's just super expensive right now. So until you can get that, like Ford did with the conveyor belt or whatever the fuck he calls it.
Yeah.
Like until we can make it cheaper and more efficient, like it's not going to be really it's not going to work. But when you can get the price down, you can make it taste better than steak or just as good. We're going to be using that once we get past the stigma of it and stuff.
Yeah, but we're supposed to eat animals, you know?
Yeah, but it's still meat. It's just not by killing an animal.
Interesting. Do you think killing a cow is bad?
Yeah, I do, but I still love meat. So I'm like, I don't give a shit.
just a Five Guys hamburger or something. Yeah.
I had a Chili's burger last night.
Chili's burger?
Okay, it was like 11 o'clock. I haven't eaten. I was pretty hungry. I'm like, fuck it, I'll get Chili's.
Yeah.
So good. But yeah, we still, like, we need it. But I don't think, dude, one, just the fact, like, what agriculture is doing to our environment is terrible.
With the pesticides?
The pesticides are ridiculous.
Yeah.
We could talk about that too. But like, just the methane from the cows alone, just the filth that they're in, what they feed them. Like some chickens, like most chickens, I don't know what the stat is, like don't even touch the ground. Like it's so inhumane of how we're treating these animals. And it's like we feed them these pesticide-filled cornmeal.
Yeah.
To all of them, make them bigger. I'm like, dude, we're putting this shit into these animals, and then we eat the animal. Like, dude, no wonder our fucking sperm count's so low. Like, we're eating shit and pesticides. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But I was listening to Rogan. He had this guy who was studying pesticides. Like, he's an environmental historian, so he's looking into that kind of stuff. And he was looking into Coca-Cola and how they started, because it started in his hometown and shit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
And then it turned into like, oh, this is sad. But pretty much past the Coca-Cola stuff, I'm just throwing out, Coca-Cola still uses cocoa leaves. They're the only importers in the United States that can get cocoa leaves from Peru.
Wow, that's so cool.
No, fuck them.
Why?
Because Pepsi, they literally made a deal with the government that no other organization could get cocoa leaves except for them. And they use it as a secret ingredient.
Yeah, isn't it smart though?
It's very smart.
Yeah.
But it's not fair.
Yeah, okay.
Pepsi just gets fucked.
Yeah, I hate Pepsi.
Yeah, fuck Pepsi.
Yeah.
But then he's starting to look into, because as Coke started to expand, they needed that sweetener. What is it called? It starts with an S.
Stevia?
It's the artificial sweetener. Sulfate. Just look up artificial sweetener. I'm also going to turn back on this camera. I think it's going to be charged.
Okay.
It says they use stevia leaf.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Keep looking.
But it's asulfame, potassium, and sucralose is what they say that sugars are.
I don't know. One of these
Aspartame. That's the ones that I found.
I don't know. But one of these back in their 60s and 70s, they started making. They needed to make caffeine, and they needed some sweetener. So they go to the lab, Los Santos. What is it? Monsanto, which is like the devil corporation now. And they're like, yo, they're a chemical making company. They say, can you make us caffeine and can you make us this? And they're like, sure. So they started using caffeine from tea leaves, like fallen tea leaves on ships, and they use that to extract the caffeine.
Interesting.
And then Coca-Cola is still expanding. They're like, okay, that's not enough. Like, we need more. Can you make it artificially?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, yeah, we can. So they start making it artificially. And then Vietnam comes along, and they start making orange. What do they use in Vietnam for the pesticide shit? It was like something chemical orange or something orange. What? No. It's called chemical orange. Yeah, so they made that shit, and they used that as a pesticide in the U.S., which they found there's a chemical in it. I think it's, look up what the chemical in it that's deadly. It's like
Dioxin. Diazin. It's Dioxin.
Okay, so they're like, this is bad.
Yeah.
They're like, we need something better for our environment.
Yeah.
So they made Roundup.
Oh, okay. Okay, like so you buy at Walmart?
Yeah. So they made Roundup, which is I thought it was funny. Rogan was like, you could either get shot or you could get punched. It's like both are terrible. I think stab would be a better metaphor for it. You could get shot or stabbed, pick your poison. So they got this Roundup. They've been spraying it on everything for years. And the runoff goes into our waters, which is fucked. And now it's in our rain, so it goes on everything.
Yeah.
Whatever. But so now we have this Roundup, and we genetically modified these corn seeds and all these seeds so we could plant them and they'd be resistant to the Roundup. So you could spray it however much you want. And this Monsanto sells the seeds, and they say you can't replant the seeds you get from, like, you have to buy more seeds. You can't get these seeds.
Yeah.
From, because it wouldn't be as like.
How they market it? Yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't, like, the next generation wouldn't be as strong or whatever. So they're like, you have to buy it, and you can't replant it. If we find you replanting it, we're going to find you. Fast forward to now, after all this bullshit of them using these pesticides, they literally made a pesticide that at a certain temperature, like 90 degrees, it pops and it spreads. So it goes to other farms and wipes out entire farms.
Yeah.
And they got sued for that. Wow. And they were like, yo, well, guess you should just buy our stuff.
Yeah.
So your crops won't die.
Right.
So this is, which is fucked.
Yeah.
But
it's
now,
all a money grab.
Oh, it's all money.
Runs on money.
It's all money.
Yeah.
And then, so now we have these, they call it stacked corn, which is pretty much, it's stacked because it has all these resistance and stuff, and different modifications. So now we have like super corn.
Yeah.
And the fucking weeds have evolved to not die from the pesticides because obviously they're going to fucking evolve to survive, which everything does.
Right.
So now they're going back to chemical orange to wipe the shit out. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we're so stupid. Like, what? Like, honestly, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
So now we're polluting rivers, our drinking water, everything we eat. Literally everything we eat is covered in this shit.
Yeah. I live on a Finger Lake in New York, and we have algal blooms, if you've heard of them.
No.
Super harmful algae that grow in shallow parts of the lake. What? Blue-green algae. Yeah, exactly. And it looks like oil spill, whatnot. If your dog goes in the water and like laps up, dead.
Are you serious?
Kills the dog.
What the fuck?
If like a human would touch the algae, it's like third-degree burns on your skin. Horrible. All caused from pesticides running off of farms because it's a big agricultural area where we are, and going into the lake and then causing these algae blooms once it reaches a certain temperature in the lake. So yeah, it's such a problem.
It's so bad. And even if you don't use these pesticides, just like that kind of shit, it gets evaporated into the air and then it rains on everything.
Yeah.
So even the plants that don't use this stuff still have all this shit everywhere. And even if they said, if we stop right now, this is from a lady a while ago, and it would take like 50 years for it to get out of our ecosystem.
Wow.
It's like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, we're fucked.
But
yeah.
That's the same thing with Teflon as well, like DuPont Corporation and Teflon. Like,
What is Teflon?
Teflon is the stuff that makes nonstick pans. And that study was done in like the 90s, like early 90s, late 80s, and 99% of Americans had Teflon in their blood.
Wow. Jesus.
Like newborns even, yeah.
What are the effects of what are the pesticides in humans?
I mean, it can't be good.
Can you search that up? Because that's what I said too. I'm like, there's no way it could be good.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what they are. Because I know our sperm count gets low.
It's probably cancer, right? I mean,
cancer.
But there are so many things that are not good for humans that we all.
Well, I mean, it's going to give you the normal, like if you encounter pesticides, what it will do to you. So it's like rashes and blisters and blindness and all that. But I don't know what it's like long term, right?
There's got
cancer, probably.
cancer.
But the hard part is that so many farmers rely on these crops and some of their crops to have a living, and so many people, in non-urban areas rely on the farmers to provide food for them. So it's like, okay, like if they don't kill all of the weeds, they're not gonna be able to get the corn that they need, and then they're not gonna have a livelihood, and these people are gonna go hungry. So it's like
fucked.
Like what else?
It's
are
a
they supposed
deadly
to
cycle.
Do? Yeah,
and especially the monoistic crops where they only plant one crop in an area.
Yeah,
and then all these bugs just come in. They're like, free food.
Yeah.
Look at this. We have all the same food, and then all these bugs come and just start eating it. I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
they happen with like mosquitoes, and DEET was like a big like pesticide or something, but it would also like kill mosquitoes, I think. So then as more mosquitoes came and found these crops and more died, they all became resistant to the DEET. So now DEET doesn't work to keep mosquitoes away.
And I was a big outdoors guy, and like I went to camp and backpacking trips and stuff, and we used to put 99% DEET, like the off. We'd just put it on cardboard before we went on trail, and then we'd leave it, and we'd just like apply it every day out of the cardboard, and it would just go straight through the cardboard.
Really?
And it's like I'm putting this in my bare skin, and the mosquitoes aren't even affected.
Dude, they're resistant to it. Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Dude, that's the same with like antibiotics, right?
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Well, antibiotics only fight bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't fight like a virus. That's why we have no antibiotic for COVID. But it's like they become like to penicillin after so many people with strep throat get the same bacteria. We pump it into them so many times. Soon the bacteria is going to modify and grow to become resistant because everything wants to live.
Yeah.
So it's like that bacteria just won't kill it anymore.
Fucking.
So you can't take penicillin.
Yeah, that happened to me. I used to get strep all the time.
Really?
So I used to be friends with a carrier.
Oh, yeah.
And I would literally get strep at least once a month. And they would
That
pump me
sucks.
with shit. And then they were giving me like the strongest of strongs and it would barely work. And now I'm like, I don't like taking medicine now because I'm like, when I need it,
I hear you.
That's when I take it. And it's going to work like a fucking charm.
Yeah.
But I don't know how true that is. That's just in my own head theory.
Yeah, I don't like taking like Advil or Tylenol or
same.
anything. I'm very against it.
My body will deal with it.
Exactly.
Strengthen this bitch.
It's like I'll get over it on my own.
Yeah.
If I have a headache, whatever, it'll go away in an hour.
Go
You know.
away.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
I hate taking it.
I agree. But that's the shit. Like, I don't know. Do you know a lot about like the pharmaceutical side of things? Because like it seems very scummy.
Oh, it's terrible. Like with I know it through like the opioid crisis, you know, and how like big pharma and Purdue just knows that they're prescribing all these narcotics to all these even like young people too who have like ACL surgery or MCL surgery, and then they know how addictive they are, so then they get hooked on them and then just keep buying them to the point where they had to pay out anybody who's taken whatever any of their narcotics because they knew of the addictive effects of it and then just didn't tell anybody.
That's fucked.
All for money grab.
Just for money.
Fucked. It's crazy.
How is that allowed?
Yeah,
Like-
well, this was when? When was that? When was
opioid?
Purdue?
I don't know.
Because the opioid crisis is happening. It's still happening. You know?
Yeah, dude, it's happening in Kentucky. Like, it's bad. It's
Yeah. I was like in like 80s or 90s.
The government gave victims until July 30th, 2020 at 5 p.m. to make claims against Purdue Pharma.
so it's still going.
So
Interesting.
they stopped it out, but it dissolved, and they paid $4.5 billion in settlements.
Wow.
But I think it all goes back to our conversation, kind of like the soul. You know, it's just everybody just trying to find some way to escape whatever this shithole reality that we live in right now. You know, that's why so many people get so high on so many
Trying to
drugs.
escape.
Yeah, which is
Escape.
scary.
It is scary. It's just like it feels misleading because I do think life can be enjoyable for everyone. It's like you just gotta find it within, which is so cheesy. I don't know how to do it, but like I do think working out, I think it's necessary. Like, it's our whole thing here is balanced man. It's a sound mind, a sound body, and you need a sound mind to have a healthy body. Because if your mind's messed up, like we were talking about before, you have stress, you're in anxiety, your back's gonna hurt, like you're gonna make yourself sick, like all this shit. And if your body's not healthy, like how are you supposed to support? Like this is your car, this is your vessel.
Sure.
That's kind of how I think of it. Like our body's our vessel of life. And if would you want it to be driving around in a shit box?
Right.
Like no, you're gonna be scared it's gonna break down and fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Like you want it to be peak performance. I want a nice Porsche,
Right.
maybe a nice Maserati.
Right,
I don't
there
know.
you go. Dream big,
I don't
James.
know.
Yeah.
I'm probably more at like a Hyundai right now, but we'll get there.
We're
We'll
working
get
our
there.
way
We're working there. But I do think simple things like that, like eating healthy, which is hard to eat
It's
healthy.
a luxury. Yeah.
But you need to do these simple things to maintain yourself, to give you a start of having a happy life.
Yeah.
And then like I do think meditation or prayer, like it's different. There's different types of meditation for everyone. Like walking could be meditative.
Yeah.
Singing, playing your instrument could be
Sure.
meditative.
Sure.
Like all those transcendent moments. That's what that scientist that I talked to thinks makes us human. He thinks these transcendent moments separates us from animals. Like we can listen to like Beethoven or Bach or the Grateful Dead, which I like, and be like, fuck, like taken away, you know, in one of these playing an instrument, like all these transcendent moments. Like animals can't do that.
Right.
Like only we can.
Right.
As we know
So,
of.
yeah, as we know. So maybe that's the distinction between us and other animals, you know,
Yeah.
is to feel something
Yeah.
through another outside source. I don't know, but that's still a privilege, you know, that not all
definitely.
humans have, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I was reading something where they over concentrate the amount of fast food chains in impoverished areas because they know, and so then they're getting access to like lower quality food, and then in turn like that affects like your brain function and how successful you can be because you're not getting the right nutrients for your body.
Shit.
Yeah, and so it's
sad. It's food desert. Like I go to Paintsville, Kentucky for the past 4 years, and it's like you go and there's one strip. There's the biggest Walmart in the country.
Okay.
Or one of the biggest. It might have got beaten. And then there's Popeyes. There's KFC, Long John Silver's, McDonald's, Burger King, every fast food chain you could think of. Pizza, Papa John's.
Yeah, Papa John's.
Pizza Palace, like all this fucking shit food. And like even if you want to eat healthy, like you can't.
Right.
There's nothing there.
Right. It's too convenient.
And you don't even have the money. Like even if you did, like it used to be a coal mining industry, and now the coal's gone, and there's no other jobs there. So everyone's either working at the Walmart or those fast food chains. So you're not making a lot. And what's the most convenient thing after a long day of work? You can get a fucking burger from McDonald's and go home and regular family.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't have time to cook them a nice, nutritious meal.
Right. But it's not even that cheap anymore, you know?
Oh, it's going up?
I think so. I mean, if you go to McDonald's, you can get like a chicken sandwich, Sprite, and fries. Okay, it's not that expensive. It's like $8.
Yeah,
but it's like
still.
if you do it for like $5, like it's not $1 or $2 anymore.
Wendy's.
Yeah, 5 for 5 at Wendy's.
5 for 5 slaps.
I do like Wendy's.
Yeah.
I do like Wendy's.
It's
My favorite's
good.
Burger King. I ate it last night.
Dude, every Sunday I have Popeyes.
Every Sunday?
It's my Popeyes tradition.
Okay.
Well, it just started like a few weeks ago, but I wake up just like hung sack, and I just like get in my car and I drive to Popeyes and get a spicy chicken sandwich and tenders for later.
But Popeyes isn't the best.
What do you mean?
One time, Amelia and I went to 3 different fast food chains to see which had the best chicken sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Chick-fil-A, KFC, and Popeyes, and we got the same original crispy chicken sandwich. We're all going to see what's the best. Do you want to guess which one was the best?
Chick-fil-A.
Wrong.
What?
KFC.
Really?
Best one.
Bullshit.
Best one.
No,
you have to
fuck
try
you,
it.
KFC.
Next time, don't go to Popeyes. Go to KFC.
I don't
and
trust
try it.
Amelia. I don't trust her at all. Fucking snake. I think what's it called? The spicy chicken sandwich from Popeyes is gas though. When I go to Chick-fil-A, I get the grilled chicken sandwich. The grilled chicken sandwich is so good.
No, I get the crispy every time, like the fried. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, they should make healthy fast food.
Well, I mean, if you think of like around here,
Core Life, but
yeah,
it's still,
Core
yeah,
Life,
that's fair.
like Chipotle, Blaze Pizza, like those are all kind of
yeah, that's fair.
Panera bread.
Panera, yeah, but like I want somewhere I could drive through, get it quick and cheap. Like,
Yeah.
I want a grilled chicken
It's
sandwich
cheap,
for like $2.
Yeah, healthy.
Healthy. But I'm curious. What?
Oh, I
Dude,
hate
Subway's
Subway.
not healthy.
Subway's disgusting.
I know, but like the idea of like those sandwiches.
Yeah, the idea of that, but not Subway.
No.
Subway is like eating a cake. It's literally like the same amount of calories as eating a cake.
They put like plastic in their chicken or something.
Real. Oh, and they looked at the tuna too, and they tested it to see if
Ew.
it was tuna. It wasn't.
Who would ever?
It was either so processed it wasn't tuna, or it just wasn't tuna.
That's no.
So gross.
Okay, if you order tuna at Subway, you deserve
You're a
that.
fucker.
So,
But that's the thing too. Like these microplastics are like all in our food.
yeah, it's terrible.
It's bad.
It's terrible.
And it like fucks with our sperm.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that. You brought up sperm a lot, but I've never heard any of these things.
There's this lady that like studied this that came on Rogan. I listened to her and she scared me about microplastics and processed foods. I'm like, damn it, it's everything we
no
eat.
kids for James Gunning.
Yeah. No, but like you can look up the sperm counts from it's like went down drastically. It was and it also raised I think this was either fertilizer or pesticides or processed food, but it's like there's been like a drastic increase of autistic children. It went from like 1 in 32 to like 1 in 8.
Interesting.
It's been like crazy how
there
much
could be a
this shit
couple
has
things.
affected.
I think.
Are you looking at it? You found it? How crazy is it?
It's a lot crazier than I thought it was gonna
Told
be.
you. The fucking sperm. Have fun having a kid, Lewis.
In 1973,
You're talking like
in 1973, it was chilling at 99. Like I guess it's like parts per million type of like sperm, but we're gonna go like
a lot of sperm.
we're gonna go M per milliliters.
Okay.
In 2011, it goes from 1973 to 2011, it went from 99 to 47, a 52% decline.
I think it's at 20 now.
Like that's nuts.
I think it's at 20 now too.
In like 40 years.
You see what it's
That
at
is
at
kinda
2020? I think it's at 20.
They used to think that Mountain Dew killed your sperm.
It just
It's-
makes
it's-
it glow.
It's like a form of birth control or something. You
Yeah.
can drink Mountain Dew.
Drink Mountain Dew, make your sperm not work.
Yeah.
I do think it's at 20 now. But look, that drop is
Yeah, it's
drastic.
startling. It's
And I
startling.
wonder why. What do you think happened from 1970 to processed food, fertilizer or pesticides, like all this shit. That's when that stuff started happening.
Yeah. But I wonder if we're
Oh,
seeing
wow,
a
okay.
decrease in fertility.
The
That's
weird
what it
thing
is.
now is that anything under 10 million sperm per milliliter is now considered like low sperm count.
Mm-hmm.
And an average is now, what did they say? Average was 40 million to 300 million sperm per milliliter. But it used to be that 80 million sperm per milliliter was a low sperm count. Now that's double average.
Dude, that's fucked.
Wow.
So,
But I wonder if they're seeing a decline in like inability to get pregnant, because of lower sperm count. Like, has this affected anything?
I think. It feels like it should have to. Can you look to see if it has affected any birth stuff?
I feel like
it has to.
I feel like it takes one sperm out of
But
like
I don't know.
tens of thousands.
I'm no sperm doctor. Oh, no, they do call me Dr. Cum, but because I kind of get it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
okay, it says that semen volume does not equate to fertility.
Okay,
so like
what does it matter then?
I would imagine the biology of the
Quality
sperm,
of the
like your
sperm is
quality.
what matters.
It's not
Like
the quantity, it's the quality, even with the sperm. Yeah. So if you have, good swimmers, then you're cooling with a baby, I suppose. But I would imagine that. I wonder what sperm count even affects then. Like,
Okay, now I'm confused.
Yeah, see, maybe it's not a problem.
So I could go down to 1 is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
As long as that 1 is good.
I don't know about that.
I mean, it decreases sex drive and like a lot of testosterone levels and like hormone levels.
And you're like constantly making sperm. It's not like we have like a finite amount. Like females have a
Yeah, I
finite
go through a
amount.
lot.
Yeah. Females have like a finite amount of eggs.
Yeah,
where, like,
and they
males-
lose it too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy to
Like
me.
we just like remake it all the time.
I could have it forever.
Yeah, there. You go.
At a certain point.
you could just like guard it for
I
yourself.
feel bad. It's like shit. You run out.
Yeah,
I
you don't.
go forever,
yeah.
which is weird. Eggs. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's change the topic. So I've heard from a friend that you're very good at managing your social life from your academic life. How do you do that?
How do I manage?
How do you manage?
How do I manage my time?
How do you manage your
basically?
time?
That's interesting. I think how I manage my time is I prioritize a lot. Like I scaffold a lot, like in my head of what is important and what is not important, basically. And I kind of try to ground it in whatever value I have or was raised in or value most. So it's like if I have some big test tomorrow in whatever, and you call me and you're like, hey, Lewis, like I need you to pick me up and the X, Y, and Z is going on, then I'll abandon that because I value.
You think I'm
connection.
more important than your
I
test?
do.
That's not-
I
I thought
do
you were going to
think
say
so,
the other
Jared.
thing. I thought you were going to be like, I have a test tomorrow. Fuck you.
No, because it's like I try to ground all my actions, all my prioritizations in whatever I value, and so I think of it more as like friendship is more meaningful than doing well on an exam. So I think that's how I try. That's how I rationalize.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So you have like a moral
sacrificing.
list.
Yeah. I do it all on morality.
What's at the top?
The top of my moral list.
Yeah, because everyone has like a different like priorities. I'm just curious to hear what yours are because I feel like you're a very well-rounded, kid, Lewis.
Thanks,
I think you're
James.
well-rounded.
The top of my list. I think the top of my list is making sure the people that I care about feel supported in whatever way they need at any time. So that is kind of what dictates all my actions. So like I said, it's that same example. Like if you need something and I have other priorities, I'll abandon them all for
Thanks,
you.
man.
You know, or for anybody. Yeah, of course, just for you, James. Just for you. And so then kind of what falls on the list are like academics or like anything like that because I think it's because in high school I was so hyper aware of academics. Academics would have been the top priority. Like that is all I cared about and all I wanted to do well in. Where now I'm like, yeah.
What made that shift?
Definitely coming to school, definitely. So it was like there were things like in my high school that I like really wanted to achieve. So it was like I really wanted to be the valedictorian of my class. And then I was. And I was like, okay, now what? Like, I feel so unfulfilled. I'm like, okay, this doesn't mean anything. You know, everything I wanted was not nearly what I now think that I needed. So it's like I have now found through experiencing through so many different people that it's like the human connection that is what is so meaningful to me and what drives me to keep on going, which is what kind of why I be a doctor because you make so many meaningful connections. So that is kind of how I got there in terms of, and also like I credit a lot of it to family. Like I have fantastic family at home. Like my brother was just here. Like they're so awesome.
Good job, Smith.
The Smiths. Shout out the Smiths. I'll have them watch it later.
Yeah.
And get their shout out. And so
Make him skip the sperm part.
Jake will like it.
Yeah.
My brother will like it. And so they have really raised me in a way to kind of like force me to value that, because I want to give back I want to give everything that they give me to everybody else that I care about and love. So that's what I try to do.
That's nice. And I think, back to the valedictorian thing, I literally just read a paper on the midlife crisis. And it was pretty much talking about, like, people go into midlife crisis because they're at a point in their life where death is not right on the doorstep, but you start to think about it a little more.
Yeah.
And people have this crisis mostly when you're living a life just to do things, like you're just to fulfill, just to get some, just to be the valedictorian,
right,
or just to get this job, or like when you're just doing things to get to the next step or get somewhere, like you have no satisfaction, because once you get it, it's like, all right, what's next? And there's this really quote I like too. It's like, life's not a I don't know what the quote is, so I'm just gonna talk about it instead.
Yeah.
It's like, life's not just a point to get A to B to C to D, like going through elementary school, middle school, high school, blah blah blah, which is put in our face.
Yeah.
But it's more of like a dance. Like, it doesn't matter where you get in the room, you're just supposed to enjoy it.
Interesting.
And just see where you end up.
Yeah.
And that's why people, when they ask me, like, what do you want to do with your life? Like, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think John Lennon said that too.
He did.
Like, when he was a kid, he's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know if this is a true story. There's no way fucking young John Lennon said this. It was so insightful.
I've heard it.
But he was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? He's like, I want to be happy.
Yeah.
Fuck it. It's like, and then he was like, the teacher's like, you failed the assignment. And then he said, oh, you failed life.
Right.
No fucking way he said that. This kid is like 8. Bullshit.
Yeah.
John Lennon, fucking shot.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I think you're so right on to see that it is like all in the relationships.
Yeah.
And that's what the Russian was saying too, in that whole talk about vibrations. Like, it's all about this connection between each other.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's meaningful. That's what makes somebody trust you. That's what makes somebody like have any sort of stock in what you're saying, you know, it's because is they have it. And one thing that I also try to do is, you know, Dean Conkle in Hendrix Chef.
Absolute beast.
Oh my God. What a legend. He's a great guy. He tries to get us to talk to, his big thing is like living in the and. Like the and is a big thing. Like you can be.
What does that mean?
You can be happy and sad. You don't have to be like, it's not like I can be happy or sad. I can be happy and sad at the same time. I can be happy for this and I can be happy, I can be sad about that. And they don't have to be two polar opposing opposites. And it's like, we constantly live a life where it's like, okay, like I'll be happy once this podcast is over, you know, because I don't have to think about it. And then I'll be happy once I pass the exam. That was a weird example. Scratch that one.
I'll be happy once this is over.
Let me start over. Yeah. It's like, I'm happy. I'll be happy once the exam's over. I'll be happy like once it's over. But it's like, you can be happy now and you can be happy once it's over. You don't have to keep waiting until the next thing, because the next thing's always going to keep coming.
Because once you're going to get it, it's just you're going to get it. I think it's called the hydraulic treadmill or something. Because when you get it, you just want the next, the next. And it's constant. But that's what like the media teaches us. It's like, you buy this, then you'll be happy. Right. Then you'll be pretty.
Right.
Then you'll have rhino pills to make your wee bigger. Like, it's always then. It's always looking for the then. It's not just like, you're good now.
Right.
Like, live in the present.
Right. Live in the and, you know.
Live in the and. I like that.
Live on the continuum, you know. It's like he also shared that, you know, we'll never feel happiness. You know, happiness is such a weird thing to strive for because it's nearly impossible. He's like, you should strive for fulfillment. Like, you should strive to be fulfilled in whatever meaning that you have, in whatever way that is for you, because happiness is some sort of societal norm that nobody will ever have, because we're not always supposed to be happy, you know.
Facts. And that's what social media projects.
Yeah.
That you are supposed to always be happy.
Yeah.
And that's what I think fucked up kids so bad. And Facebook knew.
Oh yeah.
And they knew.
Oh yeah.
And that's why they're getting shit for it now.
Yeah, as they should be. But I mean, Facebook's done more fucked up shit than.
Dude, they do a lot of fucked up shit. And they're leading the virtual reality thing. They call it, I don't even know, they're still looking for the name for it, but it's fucked. They're going to be leading what we're going into. They're really making a new world. But I don't want to go, it's just so fucked. But there's my art teacher, my freshman year of high school, wrote on the wall, literally on the wall in Sharpie, "Be here now." And we're all like, what the fuck's that mean?
Yeah.
Like, we are here. And then it didn't hit me till years later where like I actually figured out what that meant. Like Ram Dass, who's like this big thinker, I guess that's the only way to describe him. That was his, it was like, be here now.
Yeah.
And I heard it in like the Midnight Gospel show. I'm like, holy fuck, like I get it. It's like we're supposed to be present. Like I'm not here. Like when I'm have these anxieties or fears of the future, fears of the past, of what I've done, like that's not being here.
Right.
Like that's worrying about, like my mind is not in the present. I'm focused on everything that's not real. Because the only thing that's real for us right now is the now.
Yeah, is
It's
this moment, James. You and me right here.
It's you and me. I don't know why I'm in such a weird mood today. But you and me, Lewis.
A silly, goofy mood today.
Yeah, I'm in a goofy mood. I haven't done one of these in 2 weeks.
Yeah, there you go.
Mood.
There you go.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Like we got to live in the present because like our anxieties are just weights we put on ourselves.
It's hard. That's hard though. You
know? Oh, I know. It's hard.
But it's also hard because like we are our anxieties. Like we are a mistake. Like we are our mistakes. I think like all the past things that we've done in the past that we've kind of fucked up on and succeeded with, we manifest into everything that we're doing now. So it's like you can't really let go of all of it because you still are.
I think I like to look at my mistakes and my failures as lessons.
Okay.
You know? Like I think when I fuck up or do something wrong, like when the cameras die, I fucked up. Instead of being stressed about it and say, fuck, I should have done this, I should have done that. It's like, okay, what can I learn from this so this doesn't happen again the next time?
Yeah.
I could charge my cameras before.
Right.
That will solve this so this won't happen again. It's like, well, like I made a fool out of, like, it's just everything we can learn from lessons. Because I think if you win your entire life, you're not going to learn shit. Right. Like it's in those losses where you actually start to grow. Like I always left the metaphor, you need the rain for a tree to grow.
Yeah.
Right? You need those hard times to make you change and to evolve you to the next phase of your life. So these tragic or stupid incidents that you thought were so bad for yourself, you're like, you could either look at it like that, and it will be, because the way you focus your mind is the way you're going to see reality. It's like whatever you focus on. If you focus on the negatives, you're going to have a negative life.
Sure.
If you focus on the positives, you're going to have a positive life. So if you look at these negatives as positive, say, what can I learn from this? Like you can learn to grow so much more. And then instead of being scared of the future, being like, fuck, I'm going to fuck up. It's like, just do right now. Like the future's so far away. There's this like study they did. They took Buddhists and they took normal people. And they're like, all right, we're going to... Normal people.
Not Buddhists.
Not Buddhists. Normal people. And they're like, we're going to shock you or we're going to do something to harm you.
Yeah.
And like the normal people are like freaking out. Like they're freaking out. Like you could see like their brain waves like bugging out.
Yeah.
I don't know how they measured it.
Yeah.
Bugging out. And then they get shocked and like it hurts. And it goes up a little bit and then it goes back down. But the Buddhists were down the entire time because they weren't freaking out about it.
Right.
And then it went up for a little bit, and then it went back down.
Fascinating.
Because it's like they're not worried about the future. They're worried about right now because the future is not hurting them. The people are freaking out about something that they can't control.
Yeah.
And making it worse for themselves right now. So they have more time of suffering for the same amount of added suffering, of the actual moment of suffering.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot who says it, but it's always like, are you being hurt right now? Like by this thing you're freaked out. Like, is it hurting you right now?
Yeah,
and the answer is always no.
Right.
It's never hurting you right now.
Right.
So it's like, why get held up in that shit? It's like, just go with it. Like, take a breath.
Yeah.
But it's hard for a lot of people to do. It takes practice.
Oh yeah, I worry all the time.
Yeah.
I worry about everything all the time.
It's
like,
hard.
like before the podcast, I'm worrying. Like, oh, what if I don't have anything to talk about? Like, what everything just kind of creeps in. It's like, okay, you think about like, okay, but this is not a problem now. You have no idea what's going to happen. But then it still
fucks with you.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think that's a good way to do, like, work with that kind of stuff, because I do the same shit too, and I always have to catch myself. You have to notice it, and you say, oh, I'm doing that. And then usually your mind goes back to normal, and then it usually goes back to worrying. Yeah. And as long as you could catch yourself, you go, oh, but you don't be a dick about it. You're not like, oh, fuck you, you're worrying. Like, you don't beat yourself down. You're just like, oh, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And then you just go on your day, and it's going to keep happening. But over time, as you keep catching yourself, you'll start doing it less and less.
Oh, interesting. And you've seen that?
Well, like it's like, that's a meditation thing. I think it's on I don't know where I saw it, but it was some form of meditation that like I work on myself because I'm very anxious. So it's like when I see myself like freaking out about something, I'm like, oh, you're bugging.
Yeah.
Like, take a breath.
Yeah.
And then I usually go back on, and then I probably will start bugging again, and then I'll notice it, and I'll stop myself and say, hey, buddy. And then I'll go back. And it like I've honestly seen a huge progression in the past like year.
Wow.
But it takes time.
Yeah.
It's like you got to cut the fucking grass. If you don't, like, when you let it's something you got to continuously take care of.
Right.
It's not something like that's an instant fix.
Right.
And it will be fixed forever.
Right.
Like, you have to work on it forever.
And I wonder how the Buddhists kind of just maintain,
Yeah.
and just maybe meditate. I don't know.
I think that's honestly what it is.
Is that the key to life right now?
I do think it is. But like, I can't even, I used to do it, and I just like can't cut out the time. I can cut out the time, but I'm not cutting out the time.
You're not prioritizing the time.
I'm not prioritizing the time.
Why not?
I don't know. It's because it's a lot of work, and I just don't want to.
Other things happen.
Like, honestly, I'm good enough right now. Like, I'm pretty content. I got a lot on my plate. I'm like, I don't really want to do it. But I could wake up 20 minutes earlier every day. It's pretty easy. I like sleeping 10 hours a day. I know I could cut my sleep down till 8 hours, and I'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't really want to.
No, I could not. I'm terrible at waking up.
It's
horrible.
So hard.
Bad.
It's so hard. But we make the best of it.
Yeah, like waking up at like 9:10 for your 9:30.
Yeah.
Like right out the door.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Put my head under the sink. I'm like, this is fine. I'm fine. I'm wearing a mask. I don't have to brush my teeth till I get back. I'm like, that's the good thing about masks.
Yeah.
People don't smell your farts, and you don't have to brush your teeth. It's simple. And you don't have to shave.
Shaving is the big one. I think you still have to brush your teeth. You don't brush your teeth for your breath. You brush your teeth for clean teeth.
Yeah, okay, bud. I still do it. Just I brush my teeth. I brush my teeth. But yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah. Now people are gonna be like, "Fuck, this kid farts and doesn't brush his teeth." Like, I'm never gonna want to be
What
near
a
this
fucking
kid.
weirdo, James.
Yeah, what a
Cunningham.
freak.
Dr. Cum. Right?
Dr. Cum. Dr. Cum. Yes. Dr. Cum MD. Actually.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I have my. I don't even know what that diploma is.
What, MD?
My medical license.
Medical doctorate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Medical doctorate. Dr. Cum.
I don't know what PhD is.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure. But I do have to go to class at a certain point. Do you want to talk about anything quick before we wrap up? Or any insightful words?
Any insightful words? No.
That you want the people to know?
I don't think I have any.
No?
Am I supposed to?
Stop eating plastic.
Yeah. Don't eat plastic and don't kill your sperm.
Don't kill your
That's what
sperm.
it is.
That's beautiful. Lewis, it was a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, James. Thank you.
Such a great lad.
Yeah. Thanks.
And hopefully we'll see if this edited thing comes together well with all these.
Yeah, I'm excited
other pictures.
to listen or watch it or
It'll be great.
Or however it comes.
I had a pleasure.
As always, James.
Peace.
Peace.